Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tarnation TV. It's Friday night. It's the Firecracker 400, 100 laps around Daytona International Speedway under the lights at the Primetime Racing League. Thanks for joining us this evening. This could be considered like an Independence Day long weekend kind of thing, because you guys got your long weekend, July the 4th, so big race here tonight. Primetime running the Monster Energy mod that we all know and love at the super speedways with the CTS physics, so it should be some good racing. Practice was kind of rowdy, but we'll talk about that later. My name is Blaine Nyland, joined by the one and only Rod Weston. Good evening, sir.
Welcome. We're out here on a Friday night. A little bit something new and undifferent for us, and then of course I get out there playing around. I did some practice with them, did a few sprint races with them, just to get a little more information. Setup really nice. Runs the bottom absolutely perfect. Unlike what we see that happens at the Talladega, the big one, the good one we always run. They're not running that tonight. They're running a TR version of Daytona, and I really, like I said, love the setup. Had a lot of fun out there playing with the guys tonight. Looking forward to the broadcast.
Yeah, what's the origin of the Tally Rally tracks?
I think it's something
TR, BR. I know Brian Ring was BR.
Yep. The idea or the concept behind it was to try to get more side-by-side racing. These tracks were never done quite like what John Godfrey had done with the tracks, which introduced three-wide racing, which is absolutely awesome. But the TR tracks, you'll find that the middle groove probably is a little better. High side, not so much. Not like what you normally see. We'll see people go. We might see people go up there and try it, and they might be successful with it, only because of the fact that it does also. This is a little bit narrower than the Talladega. We're always so used to the Talladega track, which is about 5-6 cars wide. This one's a little narrower, so you're not going to see as much three-wide racing. Definitely not going to see any. I'd say we're not going to see any four-wide racing, but we could. But your three-wide racing is probably going to be a little bit less, just due to the width of the track being a little bit smaller.
Yeah, it's a super speedway, but yeah, Talladega is a different animal just because of how it's set up. But yeah, this is definitely a fun one. There's tons of different versions of Talladega, tons of different versions of Daytona, and this is one of the better ones. So you said the setup was pretty tight, eh?
Oh, setup great, actually. So one of the problems I have with running, over to RTG or ASR, the setups they have are either they're pretty close or they might be the same. But one thing I've noticed in both of those, when I go in there, the steering ratio is a little bit different. So I don't think the setups are exactly the same, but they're both really good. But one of the problems you have is when you come off turn 2 in the bottom, when you're 2 wide or even 3 wide, I seem to always struggle getting off that corner because it just wants to push up into that outside groove. Today we were out there doing the sprint races, 10-lap shootouts for fun, and I could hang the bottom perfect. So and I had a lot of fun out there with the guys. I almost won one, but I knew when it coming down to 2 to go, I was in the lead. I knew I was a sitting duck, and I think it was Tim Anderson come out for the win. We just had a lot of fun out there. These guys are fun to race with. Of course, with me racing at ASR a little bit off and on, but every Thursday night with RTG, my super speedway game is getting better. Am I ready to come out here and whoop up on these guys? Heck no. There is no way. But I am. My goals for Thursday is to try not to get incident points, try to finish every race, and try to get into the top 30 in points. And last week I finished 14th, which to me is considered a win, and it was an awesome race. And so I just had to come out here and play with these guys and do a little bit of practice with them, and it was, like I said, a lot of fun.
Yeah, the super speedways are a different animal. That's the great thing about this sim. No matter what you're into, like you're a big flat tracking guy, so you're always out there at Martinsville or even like in Indianapolis. The different weird tracks, I guess we could call them. But then, I guess they're not so weird. They're just unique. I mean, every track is unique in its own way. The super speedway with the the restrictor plate racing and the 3 wide and the pack stuff, and then you got everything else is strung out. This game's just great for everything, and the guys have implemented dirt racing in here too, keeping the tires cold so they're super slippery and to kind of mimic the, racing in the mud. But yeah, this will be a lot of fun tonight. This is a long race though, 100 laps, so it's going to be, it's Firecracker 400, so it's going to be 400 miles.
That's pretty awesome that they're doing that. Looking in the chat real quick, we got Chris Elliott, who will be fielding a card out there tonight. I really believe he was out there earlier when I was doing the practice with him. We got Josh too. Don't know if Josh is in there. I haven't looked yet. Then we have Panda Bear H9W. Not sure who that is, but they were just telling us to have a great race. Elliot again, of course, up there with the Howdy Rod and Blaine. You know, everybody wants a shout out. You know how that goes.
Yep.
And Frank Divins, Senior. Now we know who Frank Divins is. I'm surprised he's not out here running tonight, but you know he's not
out here running, but he painted half these cars.
I believe that.
Yep.
Then of course, you know the one and the only, the world's fantastic painter of Rod Stallings gives us a little shout out in there. No first or second gear for qualifying, and I left pit road in third. That hurt him. Speaking of qualifying, let's go to that. They did actually do qualifying. There is no points tonight. Tonight is just a 4th of July. Let's have some fun. Who can win this, you know, can turn around for the next year and say, well, I won the Firecracker 400 at PRL. That's all they're fighting for, whether they're giving out trophies or whatever. I didn't get into that with him, but on pole tonight, Tim Anderson. We're very familiar with Tim. He runs on ASR on Saturday nights and also runs at RTG on Thursdays, and a very competitive and very good super speedway racer. Followed on the outside by Brian Lovell, then Greg Lovell. Two of the Lovell boys out there, great super speedway racers. Kelly Kazi in the 4th spot, very good one. Chuck McClure, 5th. We know Chuck, Thursday nights, 2-time champion. The last two champions of the Thursday night deal. Very, very good. And then we get the 6th, the owner of PRL, that would be Keith Bynum. Then Dennis McCarthy in the 024. We joke around here with Bob and his wife about the 24. That's her favorite number. Well, we always consider it a number we don't like because we're not Jeff Gordon fans. But Dennis McCarthy, he is definitely a Jeff Gordon fan. Then we got Ken Roberts. That's our admin for the Saturday night deal we do with ASR. The 9th is Rodney Solomons. 10th, Mike Mangialardi. I like the paint scheme on that car. And then, of course, the 11th spot goes to Dan Lovell, the 388. I really miss that old paint scheme that I used to run with the Dale Earnhardt Senior number 3 and the Dale Earnhardt Junior number 88s back there. But it was pretty cool, you know. Nate Balzer, Nate Balzer, glad to see Nate Balzer out there. Robert Breedlove, you know, Chris Elliott, then John Godfrey. I'm sorry I'm whipping through him, but we got to get that done. Graham McDonald, he is the admin for the Friday night deal, so he is your head admin for the night. Pat McCarsky, Greg Palmer, we had a lot of fun playing with Greg Palmer earlier this time in the practice, which is always fun. Ken Hunksbury coming out and stuff. 20th, Javier Legrand, Denny Carroll, Stephen Branstetter. I have not seen if he's running your car tonight. Usually he does. And then Garland Oaks, usually the Pepsi. There we go. See, now I'm gonna have to have a drink. But the Dr. Pepper car. And then Laduco in the 13. I don't know what his paint scheme is because I only saw in the rearview mirror in front of me and never really got a chance to get a good look at it. Then there's Cy Jones. I don't know what Cy's running for a paint scheme tonight either, but he's a Canadian boy up there with you. Billy Elliser. Then last Thursday's winner, you know, Ulysses Sandoval was the first guy to not take time. And then look at this guy here, the 29th position, Alex Moe. That is an interesting one. Let's see Alex Moe out here tonight. Then, of course, we got the two broadcasters starting side by side. And, of course, Blaine Donovan always beats me.
Gotcha. Alphabetical order, buddy. I'm sorry.
That's what it is. Got to be.
Yep. BD,
you're a fan favorite or something like that. Then Mark Paglia, Cody Lamas in the field tonight, Terry Bombard, Sean Turner, and Robert Spring, and rounding out the top of the field is going to be Brian Rosson, and I believe probably the Valvoline track. Some of these guys I didn't get a chance to see earlier, so that's pretty cool. So it should be a great race, some good super speedway racing. We're going to see something a little different than what normal to see on the Thursday and Saturday night deal, just because we're not at Talladega, we are at Daytona. Remember, Talladega, the start-finish line is after the pit road, quite a ways down, a little bit further. Daytona, in the middle of the trial, so a little bit different. Your strategy to try to make that pass changes. You don't do it so much coming off of 3, I call it. Some people call it 4. You kind of start making that pass on the backstretch.
So we were talking about Frank Divins a little bit before. He made this cool thing. You want to watch it?
Absolutely. Let's roll it.
Yeah, he made a cool little video and sent it over for the promotion of the race, so we're gonna let her rip right now. And yeah, thanks Frank. This thing's pretty sick.
Get ready for the Firecracker 400, presented by the Primetime Racing League, only on Tarnation TV.
So there you go.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Little new, like, I don't know what you would, like a little commercial kind of advertisement,
Yeah.
bumper kind of thing, kind of neat. And the artificial intelligence guy said the word tarnation properly, so that's pretty cool. That's always a
I like
test.
that.
You're going to type
That
in
was
these
very
words.
cool.
Yeah, it is
Cool
pretty
how
neat.
we have the Tarnation TV Dodge, but I don't know. You don't run Dodges. What do you run when you run?
Chevy.
Yeah, see, I run the Dodges, and I've told you before why I went to the Dodges, only because I believe it is in this mod here. The Toyota, the Ford, have a similar dashboard. The Chevrolet has a little bit different, but the Dodge has a dashboard where it puts the water temperature and the oil temperature kind of up in the left-hand corner, and in a place where I really like it, so I can see it and still have my what we call the F screens from F1 to all the way up to F9. You can click on them and it gives you information in a little box down there, but it put it always right in front of the water temperature and the oil temperature, and I didn't like that. The Dodge is the only one it wasn't, so that's when I went to Dodge.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Like, that's the cool thing about the different makes of cars in these things is the fact that if you like something one way, you could change the make because you like the dashboard, or like you said, it's like I like the way these gauges are set up. And
Pretty
is
patriotic
it
cars.
the 250th birthday of the United States?
That's what I'm told. You know, I'm not a
Damn,
history buff. I don't watch the news, so I'm one of those guys when the world's come to an end, somebody's gonna have to come up and knock on my door. But hey, by the way, dude, you're dead.
We'll be playing Valheim. I have to leave a message with my secretary.
Yeah. All right, pace car is going to take that turn down pit road, leading the field tonight, like I said before. Tim Robinson outside, that would be the 44.
Tim Anderson with the pole position.
Yeah. Ryan Lovell outside there. Let's see who gets the good run there. Pretty even. The guys behind, I'm surprised, Greg Lovell didn't get the great start and did the Kelly Kazi, check McClure back there. They got a fairly even start. Nobody is really kind of getting into the back bumper like we're accustomed to seeing. The inside line, as we always know, prevails on the starts and restarts. But right here, when the outside line should start building up momentum and pull right up to the outside of them, be interesting to see if they do. Does Tim Anderson stay to the bottom, or does he go to the top? Nope, not going to happen. Greg Lovell right on that rear bumper, giving a real good shot down the backstretch.
I don't know why I couldn't figure out what that sound was. Apparently we were talking over music the whole time. My Spotify was still running. Apparently, I forgot to shut that down. I just turned it down. So,
hey, you know how it is. Hire the handicap. They're fun to watch.
yeah, our mics are pretty highly compressed, so everybody probably didn't have any issues listening to us. It just we might have sounded like we were yelling over music. So yeah, apologies for that. It's our first day.
So, and if you want, we can shut the sound off the cars, and we can just say this is the new NASCAR E-Series.
Yeah, we're running Teslas tonight.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of humming.
But didn't that happen? That's happened to you before, so that's why I mentioned it.
I know that's working. I looked, I'm like, what is that noise I'm hearing? I'm like, did I leave Spotify running? And yes, I did. But it's also was still going out to the broadcast. So for our whole intro to the race, we got a backing track, so not a bad thing.
The great thing is you can blame Blaine for that. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
That high side didn't really prevail for a little bit. They started to make a little ground. We saw Chuck McClure say, I can see some momentum coming. Let me get up there. Let me go. This is a little different, like we said, different than what we normally see. Talladega, the track that John Godfrey built is phenomenal. I would love to see him get his fingers into this track and see if he can't make this track have that same characteristics, so that there's a third groove. Because you'll see, they're probably not going to see, you can see people try maybe, just because these guys are so used to running the Talladega track. As they look back there and you can see, I believe that's Pat McCarsky. I don't know if he got shuffled out or he tried to go to the high side, but I don't think you're going to see it as much. But what you will see is what you're seeing right now is a lot of side-by-side racing.
Yeah, these guys are hooked up and they're This is very clean so far. It's a long race too. I mean, you're not going to see much bumping and grabbing right now because it's very early in 100. I think I said before it was 400 miles, which is completely wrong. It's 400 kilometers.
Ooh, I look back there. We got one in the fence. That was Garland Oaks.
Yep.
They do race back tonight, so yellow flag is out, but we're going to keep the focus onto the front row there because there is no yellow slow down. It is race back, so they are going to complete this lap when they hit the start-finish line right here coming up into the middle of the corner, not down to the end of the straightaway like we're accustomed to. Tim Anderson is going to be the leader. Now what it is now it's time to back off. Don't run into each other and kind of ease it down till they get the back stretch. The biggest concern that they have once they do, they're still going at a pretty good clip here of about 170 miles an hour. They just passed the pace car, so they'll start rolling up when they get down to the back stretch. And it's kind of a different way of doing it, racing back to the line. We do that at ASR on Saturdays, and they do it here on some nights. I'm not sure if they do this on a constant basis, but I did talk with Graham McDonald a little bit about they are running moderate damage. So, if you get in an accident, you're going to be hopefully being able to fix the car and, continue on. And it's a 2X pit, so we're very familiar with the Talladega, where we know they can do about 20 laps, I believe. With Daytona here, they can go a little bit longer. Not much. I believe it's about 22 laps.
Yeah, it looked like Perry Bond got just a little bit crowded there. Excuse me. And that was the reason for that yellow. Collected a half dozen guys anyway.
Yeah. Kind of looked over, and we did see that Brandstetter is running the 510 that you painted.
Yeah, he's been running that for a while. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And the Robert Spring is out here tonight also as well in the black and orange car there that you painted.
Who is that?
Surprise! Robert Spring is running your black. I believe it's your black and gold. I forget the sponsor right off the top of my head. I should remember. He showed me plenty of pictures.
The North Shore Security.
Yes. There you go.
Dark blue. Really, really dark blue.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of different car painters represent. Oh, no, he's not. He's running the Micro Center car.
Ah, okay. Must have switched out on me because he was running it earlier. So
I got one out there. I got Brandstetter.
There you go. Hey, you're doing better than I am. There's not a car out there that I painted. So
looks like Brandstetter's having an issue getting in and out of the pits there. I wonder if something got jammed up. He's in the shade of the little camera tower there. Garland Oak's having to work his way around him. Yeah, it's a weird little thing I noticed. Like when you install the game, NASCAR Racing 2003 season, classic simulator. Part of the installation process is to replace your Direct 3D registry file, like the DDL file, whatever the DDL is. I can't remember if it's a registry file or whatever it is. It drives the graphics because this game runs with DirectX 8, and that will bring it up to DirectX 9. If you don't do that, the shadows work better. If you do it, the shadows don't exist. Like you can't run, shadows from structures onto cars, like that option doesn't really work with most mods. So you always have to shut it off. I always try to turn it on because it looks really cool, but then it's like it doesn't work, so you shut it off. Now I find if you don't upgrade that DLL file, it looks cool. Like we just watched Brandstetter in his pit box, completely in the shade because of that little catwalk for the camera guy. I'm like, and it's a cool little thing. Like I thought you had to have it, but like so you can see the shadows on the car. Hunt's pretty there too.
Double file restart, which we are accustomed to. And Mikasa did not pit at all. Granted, we believe they can do about 20 to 22 laps-ish. We'll have to see how that works out, but not pitting, he decided that probably he felt he would be safer to stay up front. Not that this guy's wreck a lot, but it does happen. And when it does, if you're mid-pack or anywhere near that, a lot of times that just doesn't work out very well for you.
I just noticed the Balzer didn't even get a lap in. He was forced to retire.
Oh. What?
What happened to Nate?
Come on, Nate.
Was he in the crash? We're going to find out.
Let's find out, yeah. Lights are still on the pace car. We might as well go take a look-see.
We'll see.
Nate, 6 laps.
He's got it was a really cool looking car too. A brand new Rodney Sullins paint job there. Super sharp looking rig as always. Oh, maybe we should check to see what the steering wheel looks like. Oh, just red letter. Anyway, we'll fast forward here and see what happened.
Accident happened behind him.
Yeah, he didn't get involved in that accident. Oh, something happened there. He did have an accident. Chris Elliott, behind him, tapped him just a little bit, and he smoked that inside wall.
So you're going to remember, they're racing back. So accustomed to them not racing back. You want to try to damage.
Front left and rear.
Yeah. Ooh.
Bad damage.
Hard hit.
Yeah, there's not much left of that car, so that would have been the reason for that.
That's unfortunate for Nate Balzer. One of the fan favorites in my opinion out there. So unfortunately,
he didn't get to pit. Didn't really get to do much. He got 5 laps in, and that was it.
So now we're going to test your memory.
Uh-oh.
The Balzer 2, is that the wife or the daughter?
The A Balzer? That's Angela. That's the wife.
That's the wife. The wife said that he's out.
He's out. Hey, Angela, what's happening?
Yeah. And things are coming out.
There's...
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's so many of them.
I know, but I just couldn't remember which is which. That's all, you know.
Angela's mama. Yeah.
Lights are out on the pace car, and unfortunately for us, we lost Nate Balzer in that wreck, and I do appreciate you, watching us. And holy crap, I just turned and look, we're up to 460 subscribers. We don't push this. I push it more than he does. We're trying to get to 500. We want to see what happens, because Blaine might be able to make some money out of this deal if we get to 500. So we're looking to get up to around 500 if we can.
Well, see, and that's the thing. I was never worried about the subscribers because we do make money doing this because we build the broadcast. We charge to do it. It's not a lot of money, but it's pretty cool. Like we're actually able to make some dough doing this. And noticing, I was poking around in YouTube the one day and I'm clicking on the monetize and I'm like, oh, what do you need to do to monetize? And there's a bunch of there's like 3 or 4 different ways that you can get accepted into the generating funds off your videos. And then one of them is like, 4 million hits on shorts. Okay, I don't do shorts, so that's out of the question. And 500 subscribers. And then there's another one where it's like, 3,000 watch hours and 9 videos a month. We hit that. Easy. But we don't, and then it's 500 subscribers. So we need it. Now I'm like, 500's not out of reach now. It's, we're 40 away from that. And then I'm curious to see what I can do. Green again at the beginning of lap 9.
Frank Divins on there saying, I believe that he painted the Mike Mangialardi car, and he said that is an old car from way back.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the way that when these guys start, it's actually pretty darn close, you know what I mean? We're so accustomed to seeing Talladega where the bottom always really prevails for that first original start. Kelly Kazi goes up in front of Greg Lovell. Smart move on his part. That outside line really was getting a good run. You got to go up there and defend. When you're Kelly Kazi out there in the front, you are pretty much 80% of the time looking in that rear view mirror, and occasionally you look forward just to make sure you're not running into the fence.
Got to do a big shout out too to, of course, over there on Reddit. I follow a user called NR Clips. He's the guy that customizes these camera files. So the one that comes stock with this track is okay, but I replaced it with one custom made by him based on TV broadcasts. That's how you're getting all these super cool camera angles right now, thanks to NR Clips.
I just realized, thinking too, because it makes it really nice for me, I didn't ever fire up GNL TV, so that's going to be all on you.
Oh. Well, you could
playing
quit. You could quit and redo it if you wanted to.
Greg Lovell makes the move from outside the line behind Kelly Causey to move down to the bottom with Dan Lovell, gets out in front of Keith Bynum, and I believe he will lead this lap. Definitely going to do it. It's got a commanding lead right at the moment. Now, Greg Lovell, especially over here at PRL, and when PRL was back at the Talladega Nights, no stranger to being running up front every time we turn around. Denny Carroll's out. I mean, wait a minute. You start looking at these guys. We got guys that run Saturday night at ASR. We got guys that are running here, Thursday night at RTG. They all don't run every single lead, but there's not a guy out here that is not a great super speedway racer.
Yeah. It's basically an all-star race. It was an invitational.
It
was an open invitation to this, yeah.
It's kind of an open invitation, but, we do know one driver that wasn't invited here, and of course that is because, he has a reputation of cheating. He got a chance to run at a league that had not cheated on yet, and of course he could not do that, so he got caught cheating again. So, and I'm sorry, but I have to keep bringing that out because I just don't understand it. But Greg Lovell back out there with Dan Lovell. Like I said, the inside line right now is prevailing. We're a little bit different. We're at Daytona, not Talladega. We know usually that outside line will pick up a little better, but look at that bottom line. They're a lot tighter. There's a lot of pushing going on. Dan Lovell is right into the back of Greg Lovell, not backing off from him, giving him that really good push that's keeping him out front.
Yeah, this is a different style track from Talladega, but yeah, you gotta stay. I wonder how much different it is for these guys. I guess we could talk to them about it, because I'm curious, like, they're so used to running Talladega. Can you take that same style and bring it here? You can to a point. But there's certain bumps in the track and the way that the turns are hooked, and it's a little bit shorter. It's half a mile, a little bit, 0.6 of a mile shorter. So like a little bit more than half a mile shorter. So it's different. Yeah,
because this is a 2.5 mile track. Talladega's 2.6 mile. But,
right. So it's not even, right, 2.6. It is not that much. Yeah, it's not that much at all.
But you have different track surface. Talladega is more of a racing. Daytona is more of a handling setup. So your tire wear is going to be a little bit more here. Could they do the whole race maybe on a set of tires? Possibly. Might slow them down a little bit, but it does drive a little bit differently. Even though the TR version, the outside groove is there and it will work better, I believe you'd have to get at least probably one more car on the outside than you do have on the inside, and you really have to get formed up really, really keep it tight, keep pushing. Like you see that inside groove. Dan Lovell has not let off of Greg Lovell on that straightaway at all. So you got to get a little bit more to it, but you also got to understand it. Once that line comes, Dan Lovell and Greg Lovell, they're going to move up to that outside. And Keith Bynum might even do that. I know Chuck McClure would love to do that, but right now it's too late for him to do that. He's already got Kelly Causey on the outside of him. It would probably be a very dangerous move for him to try to get up there now.
That's Brian behind Greg, not Dan. Dan's back in 13th or something. Yeah.
There's so many levels, and I forgot.
There is a whole pile of them, yep. And all their cars would have been painted by Divins.
Yeah, but I forgot about that because I don't know why. Dan is in the 388. Brian is in the 44, and I do apologize, Brian, for that. We don't
just blame Brian for it.
We don't necessarily do PRL all that much. So Friday nights are usually not a good night for me to be able to come in and do this. It just
we're just lucky Eric. Eric isn't in here tonight. We'd be a level overload.
Oh, great, yeah. The 80 though. At least I know Eric's in the 80.
Yeah. These guys are crisp, man. This is good racing right now.
Great racing.
See, I love this guy, this NR Clips guy who makes these camp files. He's got these phenomenal spectators. Oh, no. My goodness.
Wow, and they saved it.
Yep.
How in the world did that happen? Don't know what happened. It looked like Keith Bynum got a little bit of a shot, maybe. Got out of shape, went up, hit Ken Roberts. Sent Ken Roberts all the way to the fence. They straightened it out. and giving them about a half a lap. They're still tightening up that rubber band. They're coming back.
And then you see Rodney move over. He's like, I don't want to follow Keith after that. I'm like, I wouldn't worry about it. They kept it together. Yeah, these spectator cams are great.
Now, there's Craig level still leading the lap, but McClure's got a little bit more of a run on that high side this time by. Going down the back stretch here. No, we're down the back stretch here. So if they can keep that momentum going on the high side, now we got Sullins up there and Roberts.
Well, we're talking about how we can't get the high line moving, but there it is. Proof right there.
Like I said, once they kind of formed up and got that, got it kind of tight and right and not, kind of straying away, but at least, we got a yellow flag out. So now they're racing back.
Yeah,
and McClure gets that in the books. So, granted, no points for tonight. It's all about the winning and being the person that can brag that you won the Firecracker 400 at PRL for the next year. And I, after that, need to take a drink.
Yeah, go for it. We got to load up and see what happened here. Yellow flag came up, but we didn't see it. We focused on the main pack anyhow. I guess we're going to see what happened here now. Somebody would have been blocking the racing line somewhere out here, so guessing it might have happened in the back of the field somewhere. It looks like we got a smoke going on. Oh, wow. Robert Spring in the catch fence. Okay. From 22nd position there on lap 17. Robert Spring in the 74. A huge checkup. Wow. Okay, we got to go farther back to see what happened there. That was a big checkup.
Just checking on the track there for a minute. Because we talked to, let's see, the Rodney Sullins back there. McKinley man, hey guys, we're at work, but tuning in. And then he says, let's go 096 out of the ESC Sandoval. Then we got Divins. Talked about the Mangazzarelli car. We already did that one. We got I'm not even good. Kaylee Lancaster pulling for Alex Moe.
Yeah, Kayla Lancaster, 5811.
Pulling for Alex Moe, and then Divins is telling us that he was the painter of the 44 for Brian Lovell.
Cool.
Glad you guys are in the chat, keeping us informed on the stuff that we have no idea about because we're just broadcasters.
There's a big checkup on that bottom line there. Breedlove actually got into Javier. And then, unfortunately, Robert Spring got the worst of that one, got up into the railing.
Billy Ellisor, Ulysses Puppy Sandoval, and Brian Masson are the three drivers thus far that did not pit. Now, it would be interesting to see if they pit the second time by. It's either maybe a choice. Maybe they just, they pitted the first time and they thought, well, maybe it's a safer place for me is to be up front. We'll know that when we get back by pit road. Or they might have just said, well, looking at the math, I'm doing the math. We can do about 20 to 22 laps over at lap 19. If they pit this time by, can they do it with one less stop than everybody else, should this go green?
Oh, yeah, you always got to have that in there.
Always strategizing the race. You need to know, from the big get-go, if this thing goes green, check it, when you're going to pit, and when, how, why, and then you've always got to be ready to improvise on that, and, at a moment's notice, because, a caution can really ruin your plans, or sometimes benefit your plans, literally, depending on just when, that happens. Thus far, it looks like Billy Elliser is coming down pit road, along with Brian O'Sullivan and U-Man are coming down pit road. So they may be just trying to...
Leaders aren't pitting. Those cars
are
already
pitting.
Down. Yeah. Or,
so these three guys stayed out, and now they're pitting the second time by.
Gotcha.
And just happened to look over to the chat. Chris Van Vliet, the number, it's 10, but usually the 010, saying good luck to everybody. Surprised to not see him in the field tonight.
Again, thanks everybody for watching. Of course, thanks to all the drivers, and thanks to Primetime Racing for hiring us to come in here and do this thing for them. These big events are cool. Extra long race tonight.
It's nice when we don't have to think about points. We don't nothing. It's just a talk about the racing and get going.
That's
Talk
always
about
fun
Dan.
too, but yeah, it is different when, it's just a different vibe, right?
Talked about Dan Level earlier because they kept crying Brian Dan. Sorry about that. But anyways, looking back to see where Dan Level is, currently he is going to start on the outside in 10th spot. He's still right up there. Now don't count that boy out. That old 388 is a wily little fox. And when this thing comes down to it, if he's still got a car, I guarantee you, he is going to be one of the guys up there fighting for this win.
Yes, the United States is turning 250. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, see, remember, I don't want to
1776. I thought it was 1779 for some reason.
Come on, comedians, Pay attention. Didn't they teach you about, the United States in school?
They do, yeah.
Yeah, all they said was, look down, look south. That's what they all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're way younger than you guys. We just turned 159 on Wednesday, so that's why I had the day off a couple days ago. July 1st is our day, and July 4th is your day. So it's party time if you're a dual citizen. Just take the whole week off.
Yeah. Well, I think Robert Spring did that.
Even better. Here you go. We'll just make him an honorary Canadian, eh?
Hey, just for one day, though.
Yeah. Just at the first. Yeah, go for it. Take off. Lights are probably going to go off. Should I just do the whole thing with like a crazy North Canadian accent the rest of the race? That's
sure.
Right. Oh, all right, then that there pace car just shut off the lights, eh?
Then, of course, you can go down to my buddy Gary, my cousin that lives next door. He does it with a hair lip,
Oh, yeah.
Not doing it because I can do it real well, but I am not doing it. So we'll get that hate mail.
Yep. lap 23 by coming right up.
Hey.
Yep.
What was that? Oh, God. I didn't even think of the guy's name that used to do it. There was two guys that did a Canadian. They're Americans. Did a Canadian show.
Bob and Doug McKenzie?
Yes, that's it.
They're Canadian.
Yeah,
that's
it.
Rick Moranis and
Rick Moranis, that's it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, but I do remember that. But
yeah.
And of course, the funny thing is, anybody that's watched the broadcast and he gets to the end of it, and you have Blaine's famous, if the women don't find you handy, they need handsome, they need to find you handy. And I the first couple of times he ever did that, I didn't think much of it. I knew I'd heard it somewhere before, and then I happened to be goofing around on YouTube and pulled up that
the Red Green Show.
Red Green Show.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Classic.
And he said it at the end of it. I'm like, now I get it.
It was so funny. When we were messing around on YouTube years ago, we were doing sketch comedy stuff, just having a bunch of fun. Back before Google owned YouTube, a buddy I met online through YouTube. He actually lives down in Ohio. And he knew the Red Green. I'm like, you guys have the Red Green Show in the States? And he's like, oh, yeah, it's on like PBS or some weird state network, right? And I'm like, no way, that's awesome. So there's two versions of the Red Green Show. There's the Red Green Show, and then there's the new Red Green Show. Same cast, different writers. The new one's way better. So if you're checking out the Red Green Show, make sure you check out the new Red Green Show.
Pace cars made the trip down pit road. Control car is Chuck McClure with Greg Lovell on the outside looking at the chat. Alton Sullen's in there yelling at his boy Rodney. No prisoners.
No prisoners. 38, yeah.
And then you got Frank Dimmons out there. Hey, Ozer, take off to the green, white, north, eh?
Yep.
Go, Letter Kennedy. I watched that. I think I made it about the third season or something, and I'm like, I just can't.
Letter Kennedy's something else. Yeah. I can't even do those impressions. They swear so much.
Yep.
The Tarnation TV Turbo thing.
Yes, it would. McClure down at the bottom got a really good start because Sullen's right there. Of course, we know Sullen's great super speedway racer, putting the bumper right to him. Brian Lovell on the high side, putting the bumper right to Greg, so they are still fairly relatively even. Coming off the corner. Now we know usually at Talladega the high side gets a little better run off, and it seems like it does here too. Inside should.
So Rodney mentioned in a text message, you know how when he runs the regular car, he's got the Brandon Brisa and it's got that model on the side in her bikini?
Yep.
So tonight he's not running that car, but he said on the back of the car, the M&M on the back of the
Wearing
car.
a bikini?
Because usually that girl there is the center point. Apparently, yeah, he's got the green M&M taking her stuff off on the back of the car. That's hilarious.
Well, in order to see that, you're going to have to go look at Graham McDonald's car and take a look from the back inside into it.
Well, I got drone cam. I can do whatever I want.
No,
You'll see it. There's an 18-second delay.
Okay,
yeah.
I just looked over at the, okay. That's freaking awesome.
Because I don't know if you ever noticed that. I'm like, I did not notice that. So that's pretty funny.
And I can tell you on Thursday nights, I have been pushing him sometimes, and I never noticed it. But my focus is not necessarily what he has on the rear bumper, was what I could do to push him forward. Greg Lovell did make that outside groove work with Brian Lovell behind him. Looks like Tim Anderson back there. Ken Roberts. And that is the 388. That would be Dan Lovell. So,
nice of them to all paint their cars the same.
you know, it reminds me of that. I forget what league it was we did that with, where they had the Team Wolf car. There was 4 cars painted exactly the same way. And now I'm watching this thing in TV1, and if any of you guys ever watched a replay of one of these, and so it doesn't necessarily just show me all the perfect view of the sides of the cars. A lot of times when it goes down the backstretch going into turn, what I call 3, I can't tell. I'm looking at the front windshield of the cars, and it got to the point where trying to and this will sound fun. Slide my head back and forth so maybe I can see their number.
Yeah, I've done that too in video games. You try to look around the side of your monitor, like it's
with 3 screens in
VR.
Valheim, 3 schemes in Valheim, I can look around corners. I can't tell you how many times I've done that, but yet turn my head over to the side to look.
Yeah, actually physically moving your head.
Unfortunately, I can't. I didn't get the race Thursday with 3 screens, so I'm missing a screen. Robert's got that out in the living room, so.
Oh, okay.
And I got to be real careful about taking my mouse too far to the right, because my computer still thinks the screen's there.
Right. Oh, you didn't disable it?
No, it's still hooked up technically.
That's funny.
Yep.
You'll lose your mouse.
I've done it. Lost my mouse a couple of times. Greg Lovell out there in the front, Brian Lovell second again, Tim Anderson, Ken Robert, Dan Lovell, Brandstetter up there in the the 6th spot. Dennis McCarthy trying to get something.
Paint show. He's got 3 of his paint schemes in the top 5. Those are cool looking cars.
I don't think Sullivan's going to deal with that. He's going to have to get some of his cars up there.
Yeah.
Looks like Dennis McCarthy, they're trying to get something going on the bottom, but got to kind of commit a little bit better than that. Rodney Sullivan's right behind him. John Godfrey, the 3rd car behind him. They're just got to get some more people. Got to get that bottom a little bit tighter. Looks like Keith Bynum coming up there behind Godfrey there. Might be able to give him a little assistance.
Like we were talking before too, like the dominant line seems to be the bottom line. But I'm guessing this middle line these guys are running now, it's just easier, like you said, easier getting off the turns, probably a little bit easier on tires too.
Right, the middle line, believe it or not, is the preferred line here, but not as prevalent as John Godfrey's work that he's done on the Talladega tracks. But they both can be done equally. The inside line, the biggest issue with it is a little tighter. A little tighter coming off the corner. You guys have got to be a little bit more organized and get more drivers on that bottom line to make that line work. Once you get a group, like you look at that front group of the who's who's of super speedway racing up there. Like I said before, there ain't a guy out here that's not a great super speedway racer. But you look up there, you got the levels. They're very well known for working together. Tim Anderson, Ken Roberts, Brandstetter, they're all great super speedway racers, and they're just keeping that nice and tight. What are they doing? How are they going to win the race if they're running like that? We're not even to the halfway point. You can't win a race if you don't finish a race. You get out there and you do something stupid. Right now they're wearing down laps. They're running them off. Now it sounds weird that they do that, but that's what you do. You go out there and you run laps. So what is Greg Lovell going to get at the end of the race if he does not win, but he leads the most laps? Nothing.
Right.
Only thing he's going to get is crappy fuel mileage.
Right.
he's the guy that's pushing all that air. Everybody behind him, they're content with just letting him, you know. You think about it like that. You know, you got Greg level up there, you got Brian level up there. Go maybe 3 cars back to about Ken Roberts. Ken Roberts is not going to be running full song. But you get back there where Chuck McClure is. You get back there where Javier Negron, Chris Elliott, you know, Denny Carroll. Them guys from their back, okay, as they put Robert Spring a lap down, I didn't realize that he was out, but you know, they are actually lifting a lot more. They're going to go a lot further on this tank of gas because, you know, they get to a certain point. When you get to about where Rodney Sullins is, you got Brandstetter behind him. It does Brandstetter no good to push Rodney Sullins. Or that's sorry, that is Dan level. It doesn't do him any good to push him. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to go any faster. So they just stay, that first 3 to 4 cars are pulling them along. And you just stay in line, save fuel, save tires, you know, and just wait for your pit stop. And hopefully you guys are one of those guys that can get in and out of the pits quick and get a little bit of a break and get a break away from them.
Yeah, and you mentioned Robert Spring. He was the one who got tangled up in that wreck. He got up into the fence, so he's probably got some pretty good damage. Car came up off the track and got hooked up in the railing there. So
I haven't heard any yelling from the other room, but then again, he's probably got his headphones on. He's not listening to me either. So
that number 40 of Negron is driving that High Rock scheme. I haven't seen that in a long time. I like that. That's a cool looking paint job there too. You guys spoil us rotten, man. You make these broadcasts look great.
Looking down there at Alton Sullins, he's on there. Rodney runs a picture because when they had him at Talladega doing his paint job for them, laugh out loud, a gallon. They look, yeah, really good, and extorted him through the pits, I guess. I
think that was the model. The model that's on the car, I think, was probably hanging out with him that day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because he got that car, or an actual team hired him from the
paint the car for him,
painting
or
that
design a car.
Yeah, they saw the renders. He would paint these cars and then put them on those Blender renders and then put them on the Facebook. And they're like, man, this guy's a really good artist when it comes to designing cars. So they contacted him and had him do an actual NASCAR design that made it onto a real car. And then they brought him down and had him in the pits for the whole race.
And then at a while later or whatever, he ended up with the hood.
Yeah, he actually, a couple of years after, they brought him the hood somehow.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had Robert up here, and I'm showing him my paint drive and showing him some of the paint schemes that I had done for actual real cars. So I'm not the talent that is Rodney Sullins, but I do paint cars, and I've done some pretty wild cars. Looks like Denny Carroll, sick of running around there in the back, trying to see if he could get something going on that third groove. Doesn't seem like it's really working yet. Only him and Rodney Sullins up there, so.
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot, like Rodney does phenomenal work, but like there's so many painters in this thing. Like, we've got, Frank Divins, of course, Seth Cole too. We forget how many cars Seth's painted because he never talks about it.
Yeah.
But, like there's so much cool stuff floating around. And that's only in these leagues. Like you get outside this league.
We know about.
And you get into, like even in Maverick, the car painters they have in there, like Pablo Vitor designs a lot of the cars for the South American guys that race in that series. And it's just, phenomenal work all around the board.
I give props to Denny Carroll and Rodney Sullins really trying to get that outside third groove going. Dennis McCarthy, John Godfrey, I'm trying to see, Kelly Kazi is on the outside there. They're all trying to see if they can get that third groove going. Now, we didn't get to the halfway point. Now, what advantage do they have by doing this? They're learning. They're trying to figure out, can we do this? Can we get together?
So
can we form up? Can we get to that third groove and make it work?
Because this middle line is so strong, if you form a strong high line, you could almost push them down.
Yes.
Like, hey, we want this middle line now, and then just use numbers to bore them out of the way.
If you're paying attention, what you have to do, this line on the outside started just behind Chris Elliott. Well, they're past Chris Elliott. A minute ago, they were up to the side of Javier Negron, and they are working that outside line to perfection. Unfortunately, it looks like Dennis McCarthy got a little bit of gap away from them, so So that's kind of killed that momentum. They're going to try to work back down till a little bit. They're trying to sneak into that second groove.
Chuck,
try to make that work.
Chuck and Javier Negron, they're migrating to the bottom.
Failed. And then
We're 3 wide right now.
I was watching that Thursday night and
you said we
watching
went
some of the
3
guys
wide.
do that. And I was like, wow. You know, third groove all the way to the bottom. I mean, crossing 3 lanes and making it work. That's absolutely incredible.
And they're making 3 wide work right now.
You got to get more people on that bottom groove. 2 guys like that are not going to be able to, you know, unless they've got, you know, NOS hidden in their car somewhere, they're not going to be able to get that to work. Now,
I like that they're making this 3 wide work, though. That's pretty cool. Uh-oh. Right when I said it,
I'm just going to see some cars going around back there, and I was kind of going to ask the question, we should be seeing green flag pit stops here pretty soon, and nope. They're going to end up having it happen in caution, but we had to be getting pretty darn close to green flag pit stops.
Yeah, so now we will be pitting probably around lap 39. Well,
You
we
have
lap
that-
cars.
You have the information because, you know, some guy who wasn't smart enough to turn on his GNL TV, but Greg Lovell should have led the most laps being the guy out front. So this is going to benefit him. I don't think they were too far away from the point where they would probably have to start making pit stops. So good thing for Greg Lovell being out front like that, being the guy that's wasting the most gas. This is probably going to keep him towards the front. Not that it wouldn't before, but, you know, pitting, I know the levels will all pit together, but, you know what I mean? If he didn't do that, it would be detrimental to him.
Yeah, laps led this evening. Brian Lovell 2, Tim Anderson 4, Chuck McClure 4, 6 by Kelly Causey, and then the other 21, Greg Lovell.
Like I said, yeah, I love racing Greg. He's a great racer. Well, I've done a lot of short track stuff with him over to Talladega Nights. And, you know, in the early stages of PRL, when I raced over there, you know, fun guy to race with, and especially, you know, the short tracks and stuff. He's very competitive at what he does. So not surprised to see him running up front. Of course, neither him or Brian Lovell. I say it again, none of these guys on the front surprise me. They're up there, but Greg Lovell is, you know, he's a very good super speedway racer in the CTS physics.
All headed down the pit road now. Or most of them. Who's staying out? That looks like might be John Godfrey. Nope.
Somebody stays out, it's probably more a fact they're just not comfortable with running up front with the guys.
That's a new paint. I haven't seen that one before. Who is that?
Which one?
Oh, that's Cody Lamas in the 84.
Oh, yeah,
That's
Cody.
a different looking,
Little patriotic.
looks like a
kind of
retro, retro
Yeah.
patriotic Lowe's paint job. That's cool.
He did very, very well Thursday night. He had a rough night. Remember pulling, I kind of messed up on my green flag pit stop just a little bit. And so I ended up getting with the second group of guys that were kind of, you know, damaged cars. And when he went by, I looked and I'm like, well, your gas tank's tweaked sideways a little bit. I was very fortunate that a caution came out, got me back, you know, caught up with the field. But I had just a little damage. Unfortunately, I got into the back of Ken Roberts. I do apologize to Ken for that. I was trying my darndest to basically help him, you know, and just something weird really happened with, you know, in a situation, and I just caught him wrong and ended up hooking him and felt bad. Did my penalty, got out back out there, and, you know, I was very fortunately worked my way back up through, but I felt bad about, I don't show up there to wreck somebody. I'm there to learn, get better, and earn their respect, and I'm not going to earn their respect if I'm, you know, turning them, so. Now, I'm sure.
Looking at that rack. Oh, Rossing got clobbered a second time there, and that might be. That's Ken Hunsbury there in the 66 at Corona. Kind of in the middle of that.
Per the rules of what they do over here, we will have 2 lucky dogs, and that will be the 13 of Lucky Do and the 74 of Robert Springs. So that at least will put them on the lead lap. They will be allowed to pit, which they are currently doing on the second time by. As soon as they get that done, they will work their way towards the front, up to the outside, next to the pace car. When the lights go out on the pace car, then they're allowed to drive around, come around to the back side of the field, which basically puts them at the end of the longest line. Unfortunately for them, they will receive a black flag for doing such action. But that's the great thing. The admins will clear that, and they will be back on the lead lap.
Yeah, speaking of admins, Graham McDonald, Denny Carroll, Dan Level, I think it would be Keith Bynum as well. Bunch of on-track administrators right now.
Keith Bynum's the owner of the league, so he's the guy that pays the bills, gets everything, keeps everything going over here. Graham McDonald's been with PRL, was at Talladega Nights. Great guy from Canada, too. Love Graham McDonald. Does a very good job of running, I believe, usually on the Friday nights. It used to be trucks. Now, I don't know if they switched it over to the Men's Cup, which is quite possible. Like I said, haven't been over here running with him or doing any broadcasting for him.
Yeah, it looked like I looked at the entry screen there. It looked like Breedlove, Roberts, there's a bunch of guys on track. The entry screen shows drivers' names in different colors when they have administrator privileges. So, yeah, they've always got about half a dozen guys bossed up, as they say. Boss me up.
The great thing about that is what you don't understand, per se, is that this game was never designed to do side-by-side racing. When you set it up in the control panel to do side-by-side racing, what it does is it puts the lead lap cars on the outside and then it puts the lap down cars on the inside.
Yeah.
Back then, they didn't have a lucky dog system and play like they do now. As you can see, Robert Spring is working his way up to the pace car on the outside groove there. He will go up, stay right where he is. Once the yellow lights go out on the pace car, which they should do this time by, he will go by and pass them. But, so, a lot of the leagues really started doing this. They wanted to do the double file restarts. Why? Well, currently, that's how NASCAR runs their double file restarts. Lights are out on the pace car, so Robert Spring will go by, as well as Luckadoo, which he was already up there waiting. So,
see, I forget about that lucky dog thing in here, where lap down cars would have been on the inside to try to get their lap back.
Yeah.
Because that's where you get into that issue of the black flags, because everybody's next to each other.
So, the thing about it is, you could have a 30-car field. You could be, so just for example, I'm going to use Tim Anderson just because he's on the inside. Let's say he was a lap down and he was way in the back. He would literally come up and start right next to Brian Level. That's the lap cars were down there. That's how back then they allowed them to attempt to get their lap back by racing the leaders. Well, these guys all wanted to do this double file restart because it's what they do. Of course, it was never in the code to be able to do that. So how do they go about that? Well, the two leaders in the front. So Tim Anderson being the lead car, I'm going to double check that, which is correct, has the option, and I do believe they do this at this league, to run either the high or low side on the restarts. So he has chosen the bottom. Everybody else has to stay where they are. Now, what do you run into a problem here is if you're in the bottom groove, so let's say you're Ken Roberts and, Dan Level is in front of you right now, technically, but if you beat Dan Level to the line, you're going to incur a black flag. Now, did he do anything wrong? Well, the outside line might not have gone. His line went. He beat him to the line. He's going to receive a black flag for doing so. Well, they will clear those black flags because, it's not, it's the game doesn't understand that. So it's a little bit more harder on the admins. So that's why they have more admins so that people can clear black flags for them. As the pace car makes the trip down pit road, control car is Tim Anderson. Outside is Brian Level, Greg Level, then Dan Level. Wait a minute. There's too many things that are not level up front. The thing you got to look for is when these levels get together, they are hard to beat. Get in line.
Yeah. Well, even you can tell by the paint job on Tim Anderson there leading this thing at the 33 that he's part of that crew, right? So he's just slid up in front of Brian there, and these guys have just been working together the whole time. So he's part of that big. I want to say Big Stone Gap. Do they still go by that?
I believe so, but the one thing you have to understand, you look at the 3 cars that are in the high groove, they're all Chevrolets. And Greg Lovell's always been a Ford man, so it's funny how they do that. But I don't, as Mark Martin used to say back in the day when he drove for Jack Roush, Fords don't breed with Chevys.
Yeah.
So see, but we know darn well when these Lovell guys get there and they get together, usually 9 times out of 10, once they get a straight line formed where they've just got 4 levels in a row, that's where they stay. Ooh, we got a little bit of, wow, that was kind of weird. It looked kind of like Dan Lovell got kind of shuffled out just a little bit. I don't know if Chris Elliott got in the back of him, not going to assume. Elliott backed off either way, let him get back in line. And now we do have a third groove up there trying to form. Kind of funny. We're not even halfway through the race yet. But, you know what? Now's the time to start experimenting. You know what? If you go down with like 10, 15 laps to go and decide to make that high line work, you get up there and you go, wow, guess what? That ain't going to work.
Right? I'm surprised to see 3 wide here, too, because it is a tighter track. It's about a lane narrower than it would be at Talladega.
But you got to try it now.
Yeah,
I'll see if it'll work. If you can make this work on the outside groove, you know it'll work. You're going to do it when it gets down to it. But the thing
Chris
about it
Elliott gaining tons right here.
Think about this, guys. Any of you guys out there that have ever raced this sim in the Sierra lobby, this would never
ever happen. Never in a million years. So Elliott on that last lap went from 7th to 3rd.
You watch these guys do this. Now, like I said, we're telling you right now, there's not a guy out there that doesn't, for one, deserve to be here and that can't not win this race. There's everybody out here. These are all very, very good super speedway racers. And you look at what they're doing, 3 wide, all the way around this track pretty much constantly. But like I said, they're Chris Elliott, them guys up in that high groove, they're literally trying to find out, will this work? And if it will, how many laps is it going to take me to get me to the front? So if it's going to be 15 laps for me to get there, if it's done right, you watch. When it's 15 laps to go, they'll start moving up to that high side and try to see if they can make that work. Remember, only one winner.
And it's patience, too. Like, this type of thing is patience, because sure, it's not going to happen in 2 or 3 or 4 laps, but if they stay consistent up there, they will. You can see how far they went. I'm curious if anybody up in that front row might decide to hop up there.
I'm surprised they haven't, but
wow.
Do you abandon your teammates? No.
That's another thing. Yeah, you don't abandon your teammates.
You don't do that.
Yeah,
think
because
about
the 33, the 44, and the 388 are all working together. And will forever.
Think about it like, oh no, that was right up front. Greg Lovell, Rodney Sullins, only 2 cars that made it through that mess. I don't think there's cars out there that didn't get much damage, but they also are not going forward. So 2 cars made it through there without any contact. Oh no, more contact. Dan Lovell tries to get himself situated, catches Chuck McClure right there in the middle of the tri-hole.
They were 3 wide for a long time.
Moderate damage. Now, the point I was trying to get across before this all happened was, let's just say Greg Lovell wins this race. We're going to just go with where we're at right now. Rodney Sullins gets second. Next year, we come over here, we're going to host this race again. We're going to say, well, yeah, last year, Greg Lovell was the winner. Are we going to say, and Rodney Sullins was second?
Nope.
No. We're going to say Greg Lovell won it. Why are these guys here? They want that prestige. They want to turn around and say, when it comes down to it for the next year, they were the champion of this race for last year.
And it's a neat thing because it's a longer race, running 100 laps here, being a 250-mile race, Firecracker 400 kilometers, whatever. That's a long one. You gotta get comfortable. Hopefully, you got a comfortable chair. Because you're not able to get up and walk away from this.
So this was in realistic life. and you had the Daytona 500, which was a 500-mile race. Okay, but I forget what the laps. It was 100 and so I don't remember what it was. Doesn't matter. But this is the Firecracker 400. This is the race that they ran every year, as close as they could to the 4th of July weekend. It was, 100 miles shorter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's same thing, but you come down here in July versus January and February, you're talking a totally different track. January, February. Yeah. You're down there in the colder temperatures, the track's really good, a lot of grip. You come up here in July, there's a lot less there's a lot more sliding around, Daytona's a little bit warmer right now than it is, was back there in February, so. Didn't look to see, but now that I know that he did, it looks like, I don't know if Rodney Sullivan's pitted yet. Graham McDonald stayed out. Ken Huntsberry stayed out. It seems, I don't know, that paint scheme is just a little weird for me for Huntsberry, but he's not accustomed to his normal paint scheme.
Oh, he's running the Corona. Yeah, he's usually running like a New York Yankees car.
Yeah. And of course, Cody Lamas in his reverse 48, the Jimmy Johnson fan, what can we say about him, Keyboard, that's why we call him the keyboard warrior, whatever, but.
It was funny when we started, we used to watch NASCAR as a family, like back in like the late 90s and whatever. And we all latch on to different drivers. I was always a Stewart, Clint Boyer, Tony Stewart guy.
Yeah.
Mom loved Jimmy Johnson just because he was handsome.
Okay.
Locked onto him when he was a rookie. And I'm like, 10, 12 years later, I'm like, you know what, Mom, good call. Just the guy won like 6 or 7 champions. I'm like, who picks the cute guy? And he's actually like,
good.
That's the only. She's like, oh, I like the way that guy looks. And I'm like, whatever, Mom. And then like 10 years later, I'm like, oh my God.
Looking into the
my
chat.
Parents still. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. That's right. Go ahead with your story. I'll do that when you get done.
My parents, with the die-cast cars, of course I bought Mom and Dad, and everybody just buys these NASCAR die-cast cars. So Dad's got senior, junior on the credenza. Of course, Mom's got her Jimmy Johnson 48s.
Yeah.
So I'll go over to the house, even just last week, and I'll take note of who's in front, because Dad will walk by and notice that Mom's probably moved the Jimmy Johnson. She's probably rolled it forward like 3/4 of an inch so that Jimmy's in front of Earnhardt. And then Dad will push it back. They've been doing that for decades. It's hilarious. I'm like, you guys still mess with these, eh?
Yeah, that's
it's
funny.
So funny to see. Like,
It's a great story,
Earnhardt's in for Earnhardt's always leading, and then Mum will change it. Nope, Johnson's always leading. So it's pretty cool.
That is a great story.
Yeah.
What I was getting at, I was just looking to see where Alex Moe was, because we really haven't heard from him much tonight. But
he's
here. Looking at the chat, Jeffrey Elliott is in the house. He says, "Hey guys, miss you."
Hey, Jeffrey.
We are, bummed out that Jeffrey couldn't make it tonight's race, but he's dealing with his stuff. We wish him the best, and want him to get back out here if he can, whenever he can, and if he wants to, man, come on in here. We'll throw you up in the booth when you can chat with us if you'd like to. We'd love to have you up here. Look over at the screen, and you've got the drone flying through asphalt, I think.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, but I just have to look over.
How far I got it zoomed in, I forget where it actually is, and then it lands inside the ground or something.
So right now, we are at the halfway point. Boy, look. Oh, wait a minute, we're under caution. But you're getting there, but with Daytona, I hate it when I do that. I hit the wrong button. With Daytona, we know that, there is a little bit shorter distance, and not much, but so with 66 laps is what we're normally accustomed to seeing the guys run at Talladega. They're doing 100. That is still a little bit more laps than what we're used to, but but it's good to we're at the halfway point now. We get just another 50 laps to go. And I don't know how long have we been on? How long is this taking? These guys will get these ones down in a green flag, and we'll get it done here in a short period of time. I don't know if Jeffrey's taking us up on that offer yet or not. Don't see him.
Yeah, so I was just running the numbers to see. Yeah, like a normal Talladega race would be 175.5 miles. This one today is 250.
So they're doing a little bit longer.
Yep.
Changes the strategy a little bit, like we saw them earlier when they were just single file, running laps. Let's run these laps. Let's get through it. Right now, currently, the pace car lights are off. We've got Greg Lovell, the man on the point, the guy control car. Rodney Sullins there on the outside of him with the streaking green M&M on the back of it. U-Man's in third.
Yeah, the green M&M is the girl.
And Tim Anderson. So I have to keep checking with Tim Anderson because Tim Anderson and Dan Lovell kind of had similar paint schemes, so it's a little bit hard. But Tim Anderson in fourth, Brian
up front
third.
all day.
He's behind him, man. He's managed to work his way up into the sixth spot. Dennis McCarthy, as they get the green flag, I'm very amazed at how even they start on these. Greg Lovell and Rodney Sullins got a great jump. Biggest difference is the better jump was on Ulysses Sandoval behind Greg Lovell. Oh, Greg, bandits him. So I was just sitting there. I think Sandoval was coming to give him a shot. It never got to him. Greg Lovell moved to that high side in front of Rodney Sullins and Tim Anderson on that high side. Right now, it's not getting him any divisions. U-Man is down at the bottom there. Getting a great push by Dan Lovell and Dennis McCarthy. And, of course, the one and only car painted out here by the man, the myth, the legend in his own mind. You got Steve Brandstetter back there in the inside on the fourth way back, driving the Blaine Donaldson paint scheme.
Yeah, it's the Oklahoma State. Yeah, it's football. Yeah.
So, expect you're going to get some new cars once Bob learns how to do layers, which I will be teaching him how to do because now he has Paint Shop Pro.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, I remember, when I first got a computer, and we're talking a couple of decades ago, and then you're messing with game programs, like, this is weird. I wonder how these guys do this. And then once layers is that epiphany in your brain of like, oh, okay.
I was literally afraid to do layers because I didn't understand it. Bob did a very nice job, did a render for this car for me, but it was a Mark Martin tribute car. So the back of the car was Folgers, then it went to Strohs, then it went to Strohs, went to Forders, it went to Valvoline, Viagra, all the way to the front, and it ended when he was running the U.S. Army car.
Mm-hmm. So you did that on one layer?
Did that in one freaking layer.
You're a maniac.
So if I messed up, I had to start all over. Caution flag is out for some reason, so these guys are going to be racing back currently right now. Greg Lovell out front, Rodney Sullins second, Tim Anderson third. Then you've got Keith Bynum. It changed. So I was kept questioning that, but John Godfrey fifth, Dan Lovell sixth. So Javier Negron, we haven't really seen much of him as far as running up to the front. Currently running there in the seventh position. So he's been quietly running back there, and I wouldn't count Javier out. He's a pretty good little super. Wait a minute, I keep saying that. Everybody's a pretty good little super speed racer.
Yeah, Negron's good, man. All these guys,
they're
like
all
you said,
these guys are
everybody out here.
I go out here and race with them, I look like a freaking rookie.
Yeah, like I can hold my own, but I'm a mid-pack guy anyway. Like I'm only ever gonna be like 20th.
So my opinion on it though is, hey, that's great, y'all get your best open setup. Let's go to Martinsville.
Exactly. Yep.
But yeah, I show you some speed.
The unbeatable Rod Weston. Oh my goodness, we've got cars in the sky. Billy Ellisar, Robert Breedlove.
Yeah,
in
pilots
the
without a
actual
license.
sky. Yeah. They're coming into turn something here. Turn 2, I think, or turn 3, I think that is. And they get... Oh, Ellisor, man, barrel rolling across the top of the fence. Chuck McClure, oh no. Ellisor is actually spilling oil. He's got black smoke coming to the back of that thing. Oh, there's a shot. TV2 is the camera to beat right here. We're going half speed here.
I looked over at the broadcast. I'm not sure which car that was. Did the flight. It was a white car with some patriotic something. When it landed, you couldn't see the numbers.
No.
Couldn't see nothing. That thing was just stove every way, shape, and form. Wow, man, there was some flying there.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, it was.
McClure
Holy
sliding.
moly. This is moderate damage.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Breedlove's car.
The
That's realistic
rest-
damage on that car.
When you hit hard enough.
Oh man, you usually don't see damage like that in moderate. That hood is folded right up. Wow. That's rare. That's rare on moderate damage. Like we go cockpit. That's what he's looking at right now. I think that car might be done. Oh, he's still out there. This is live right now on board with the 931. You know what? We're going to ride with Robert and see what happens when he comes to the pits. I mean, they're going to cut that off. So he's going to be running with no hood, no grill. If he decides to stay out there, which he probably will. This is a big event.
I look over at the broadcast going, I don't know if I've ever seen a hood that hot.
That's what I mean. Like that's realistic. That's on realistic. Like if you had damage on realistic, that would happen. But to have that happen on moderate damage settings is wild to me.
You have to hit something at a time.
See, I think what happens too is when you get up into the fence, sometimes the game sort of just like there's no impact, and then all of a sudden there's infinite impact, and it just does that. So because of where you're located, you're not on this track surface. You're hitting something different. It's almost like you're getting stuck in the fence, which then causes 100% damage. But even for the accidents that we've seen, that's hilarious. that actually happened on moderate damage. That's wild.
Now, race car builder myself, and looking at that damage, that radiator is non-existent. That is crushed way beyond the point where you are going to, in real life. Now the game might let them keep going, but I'm going to tell you right now, we dealt with this last week, building the V8 Sportsman. It looked like that.
Did you? I forgot. We have control of this. Did you want to grab Robert and pull him in here?
See if I can find him. Yeah, Robert Breedlove. Robert Breedlove, you have Rod Blaine live on Tarnation TV. You got a copy?
What's going on, guys?
How's things looking? Get it? Because you can't really see much right now.
Well, it's a good thing I drive from Chase, so I don't have to worry about that.
Oh, okay.
Wow. That was a hard hit. Going to be able to save it, or you haven't pitted yet to see whether or not, can you save it? Can you keep going, or is it they're gonna park you if you make that trip down pit road?
Well, that's why I stayed out. I figured you guys would get a glimpse of it and maybe give me a little airtime. So
see, we're perfect for you.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah. Couldn't get up there any other way, so I figured I'd do it this way.
Well, no, we had hopes for you until you decided to become a pilot without a license.
Yeah, I might have had a little help.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
we see you, run a lot of the, the Talladega series. I went out there a little bit earlier. I played around with the guys a little bit, did some of the sprint races. How different do you find racing here than at the Talladega track?
It is a lot to me, it's a lot harder just because it's not as wide as Talladega. So the cars, you don't have a lot of room for error like you do at Talladega, especially if you're 3 wide.
We see the 3 wide out there somewhat kind of work. You got to get the right guys together to make that all happen. But, you know, I played around a little bit. I really don't like running the bottom, you know, at the Talladega tracks, the versions of it that we do run. Just because coming off of 2, it does not grip. But I played around with these guys a little earlier. I kind of like the way, you know, it came off from 2 better than I do at Talladega. Did you feel something similar to that, or were you know, preferred the high line a little bit more?
It doesn't push up off the corner like it does at Talladega as much. But still, you gotta, I mean, if you're 3 wide, you gotta give a lot of, you know, you gotta be really close.
For the last question before we let you get back out there, you know, right now you have no opportunity to win this race. Well, I should say
Never say never.
It could happen. You're going to be a damaged car out there. You're going to keep going. You're going to soldier on. You know, people are going to ask, why did Robert Breedlove stay out there and keep going? I want you to tell the folks out there why you're doing this.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to stay out here or not. That's going to be seen here. I don't know. It all depends how it goes. Just, you know, just have fun and with these guys and celebrate the 4th here a little bit.
All right. Well, thank you for coming up and hanging out with us. You know, hopefully the thing keeps going. If it doesn't, and you know, we understand if you just can't finish the race out. But have fun and good job. Good luck, bud.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Robert. Yeah, that to me is very rare on moderate damage to have them actually have cut the front end off the car. I mean, that happens all the time on realistic damage, but moderate stuff to pull that off, you know.
The Mince Cup is probably, in my opinion, and it's granted it's only my opinion, is probably one of the coolest, one of the coolest damage models that you know, have out there. And we've seen drivers, we've seen Rodney Sullins with the back of the car just completely missing, but you know, and still stay with the pack and still be relatively competitive. But you had to have a car in front and behind him. You look at Robert Breedlove right now, the front end damage is never going to be a good thing. He does not have the speed. He's currently 180 miles an hour behind these guys, losing the draft. So I applaud him if he keeps going, but I also understand if he you know, decided that he'd had enough.
Yeah, that's one of those things. If you can't keep like 170-ish, you're just more in the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, and with no front on the car, I mean, there's zero aerodynamics going on there right now. It's just like you got a parachute up front. You're just driving a shoebox at the moment, like.
Yep. And here, when, you know, these guys are, I'm looking right now, they're doing 195 miles an hour going through the middle of turn 3 and 4. They're going to be a little bit faster down here, but yet through the tri-oval closer, a little bit slower. Make it down the backstretch, you know, they're going to be averaging almost 200 miles an hour down the backstretch. If he's out there running about 170 miles an hour, that's really not a lot of fun. You know, like I said, I would applaud him if he kept going, but I also would understand if he didn't. Tim Anderson currently out front. He's managed to, through all of that pit stops, get himself in front of Greg Lovell. Keith Bynum right there running pretty stout tonight there in the 3rd position. Dan Lovell behind him. Rodney Sullins down at the bottom with John Godfrey, Ken Roberts trying to get something going there. And of course, on that high side, you got Steve Branster, the only car out here painted, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend in his own mind. Here's Blaine.
Yeah, I got nothing. Yeah. Tim, there's his 12th lap lead of the night. Greg's got 34 laps under his belt, and 60 of 100. Who do we have that is retired? Okay, so Breedlove just retired.
Didn't do it, so.
Hey,
I screwed up and didn't put that on there. So Robert Breedlove's got the fastest lap. Or who has the fastest lap?
I actually can't tell because the way my GNL for some reason, it overlaps everything. Let's see if I can make that out. It looks like Paglia Yeah,
Okay.
it's going to be Mark Paglia. I had to zoom in on my GNL. Mark Paglia has the fastest lap so far tonight, 44.6 seconds, which is 201.7 mile an hour average speed.
Took a little over 35 laps to go. You know, we've seen Greg Lovell up front running. He led the most laps right now, Tim Anderson. But I'm going to tell you right now, you sit there and you go, well, you know, you take that top 5. They've been running up there pretty much off and on a little bit all night. Those have got to be the top 5 that kind of win this, right? No.
Yeah, I never know, right? That's crazy.
You got Rodney Sellens back there. You got Denny Carroll. They're sneaking out there on that high groove right now. There are so many drivers out here. You know, Javier on the ground. I mean,
I was just going to say, you got Ulysses back there with Graham and Mark. You know,
U-Man, famous for not being out there up front leading all that. Then it comes down to the end. Well, where did he come from? You know.
Yeah.
Great job and took the win on Thursday. And if I'm correct, that's 9 different winners over the season. No repeat winners yet on Thursday night. So that's pretty awesome.
You got Terry Bombard sitting mid-pack all night here tonight, pretty much. 14th spot right there beside Mike Mangialardi. Ulysses, we were just talking about. We're going to make it 3 wide on the bottom.
The car's not damaged, really, and you're in decent enough shape. Everybody's got a chance. We still got a ways to go, to come to the end of this, and anybody can really win it. Now, would you pick Greg Lovell to win this? Wouldn't be a bad pick. I mean, he's led the most laps, been up front most of the time. It's an excellent super speedway racer, but all it takes is for guys around him to say, no, we're not working with him. We're going with Tim Anderson, or you look back even further. U-Man back there. Those guys decide they're not going to play with Greg Lovell. They want to push U-Man to the front. Then you've got U-Man winning. So that's the nature of this game. It's not a race that you necessarily are going to win by yourself. You've got to have friends behind you to help you.
And any plan you have can literally be out the window in less than a second.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to do this. And then you're like, nope, got to do this. You got to change your mind and just do what you got to do.
So I'm out there in the sprint race, next to the last sprint race that they do for the night, right? I'm leading. I've got Tim Anderson behind me. I'm trying to remember who's behind them. It does not matter, because just as soon as I saw Tim go up there, and I caught it just a millisecond late, and they got by me, and I ended up finishing 3rd. Hats off to Pat McCursky. Wicked move. Faked me out, went up the high side to give me a push, drove down underneath me. Didn't win that race, same race, but he was able to get by me by the move. I'm still learning this stuff. These guys out here, they know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. So that's why I race on Thursday, learning, getting better, and enjoying racing with the guys at RTG. And it's a great group of guys. And like I said, every time I go out there, I learn something new.
See, there's a lot of great, Talladega, Daytona, those are real tracks. These tracks are modeled off of the actual facilities in real life, but there's some fantastic fictional super speedways out there, too.
Bermuda's a wicked cool one.
Which one's that?
Bermuda?
Yes. Yeah.
The pit road on that thing, the exit from pit road and onto the track is a long drive. But by the time you get just that on the track, you are hauling the mail. It's a fun. Coca-Cola, it's great to race on, but it doesn't take much of a mistake to where, you pile up the whole field there. But
Coca-Cola is almost too long because it's 3 miles, right? And you're like, oh yeah, longer's better. I'm like, yeah, longer gets boring. 2.5's good. Daytona 2.5, Talladega just over 2.5. I think Bermuda's only 2.
Yeah, I think Texas World Speedway was a pretty cool one, which was actually a real racetrack that just didn't ever, make the cut. And then, unfortunately, I believe it had something to do with, development. You can sell the land for more money than it's making racing, and it, went off to development.
Oh, that's too bad.
California. Montana was a great racetrack. They decided they were going to make it a short track, and the front grandstand is still there. That's the only thing that's left. They sold all the land around it.
No kidding. Did they really?
Yeah, terrible.
Wow. Yeah, because that was a
I do.
Michigan kind of track,
Yeah,
right?
basically same thing as Michigan, just subtly different. And there was a lot of great races that went on there. And I don't remember who owns it. It might be even owned by NASCAR. They decided they were going to try to do basically a longer version of Martinsville. So, I kind of like the idea. They never finished it. They sold the land around it, and nobody's done anything with it. So it's just unfortunate.
It's almost like you couldn't now. If they sold the land around it, it's probably all apartment buildings, so people will just be whining about the cars.
They were smart in that aspect. It's all businesses. So that's the only way you're going to do it. And I had the discussion today with Robert as I took him up to the track where I cut my teeth and where I currently race go-karts. We went down on the track and showed him the whole facility and whatnot. And of course I showed him the one proper terminology here to keep us off from Tarnation TV. The one guy that just bought a house next to the racetrack and complains about the noise.
Yeah.
Fortunately for us, he cried wolf one too many times. Basically, the police department looked at him and said, "You call any more, we're going to come arrest you for harassment."
Nice.
Yep.
Like, you live next to a racetrack, bro. Come on.
My house is
That's
right
like
next to
people in
a
like Toronto getting mad at the Honda Indy when it comes to town. I'm like, yeah, no, it's going to be gnarly for a couple of weeks. Sorry. You got front row tickets, though. Just go sit out on your balcony and watch it for free.
Yeah. I bought a house right in line, pretty much almost above my house. Not quite above it, but a little off. The airplanes go over my house. It's been pretty quiet because it's the 4th of July weekend, but once that comes around, and then of course, and with Denny Carroll on the bottom, of course they come up with stunt planes, and it's going to happen pretty soon, and it's all day long with something. Never complain about it. I bought a house next to an airport. That's what it is.
Yeah, who cares?
Yep. The bottom line's starting to form up pretty good. You got Bynum, you got Denny Carroll, you got Javier Underground back there, and I'm just going to say that is Garland Oaks. We saw him in an incident a little bit earlier tonight, made his way back to the front. We still have, about just under 30 laps to go. But these guys that are, in the back are starting to work in their way towards the front to position themselves. We know there's going to be a couple more pit stops in here. We don't know exactly when those are going to happen, but soon enough we're going to have some pit stops. Of course, if they can do it under green flag conditions, we know that they're going to separate the field just a little bit.
And this next stop would be the last one. Because we're within 20... Yeah, we're within 20... Well... Yeah, what's the window? You said 22?
Believe it's around 22. I think they can go a little bit further here because the track is a little bit, shorter.
Right.
Still running wide open. Still, you got to look at it as, Tim Anderson's going to get the worst gas mileage. It's now, I don't know how they did it. They were on the bottom. They worked their way to the top. Keith Bynum with Denny Carroll, Dennis McCarthy, Rodney Solons, John Godfrey, and that is Alex Moe.
Yeah,
on the high side, they're making their way around, try to get the lead.
Yeah, Keith's been running great. He's been making the moves, and then he's right up here now in the front row. And he was floating around about 10 laps ago. He's floating around back there in 6th spot.
Missed the move of how he got from the bottom to the top and actually almost made it work. They haven't quite got out to the front when it comes to the start-finish line yet. If they can form that up a little bit better, there's only 4 cars on the bottom that are nose to tail. Garland Oaks is a little bit further away. They got about 6 cars on that high groove. If them 6 cars can get just a little bit tighter than the bottom groove, they can make that high groove work and get out in front.
It is crazy how 6 cars, as you can see there, are actually keeping pace with everybody else.
Now the question we have, you got to think about too. We saw Garland Oaks earlier. Does he have any damage? We know this Men's Cup mod is very good. If you've got minimal damage, you can still hang with the pack as long as you got a car in front or in the back of you. They usually seem to hang pretty darn good. Is there any cars up around that way that have got a little bit of damage that might be slowing that line down? Now Tim Anderson's got the answer. They just unformed down that high line a little bit, and they just kind of, Keith Bynum's now going kind of sort of backwards.
Crazy how fast it changes, you know.
You saw, I just happened to look over the broadcast, and you saw where that outside line was going down through the tri-oval. They were not organized. It looked like a snake. Everybody was all over the place. If you look at the bottom line, they're pretty tight staying there. Oh, I see Bynum around.
That will probably stay green. Yeah.
It stays off the track, yeah.
Oh, man, that's unfortunate, man. Bynum was having a great race.
Brian Masson goes a lap down. I think he got damaged in one of the earlier instances. Got to give him a lot of props. He's still out there, still running. Tim Anderson, you can answer this or not. He's been leading for a little while. Has he surpassed Greg Lovell in the most laps led yet tonight?
Negative. Oh, wow. Okay, so Bynum doesn't look damaged. From that wreck there, he's probably going to need a little bit of tires, but other now than being off that main pull with that main pack, he didn't hit anything. His tires
we are under caution.
Oh, we are, yes. So yeah, to answer your question there with laps led, Greg Lovell is so far still the lap leader with having led 34. Tim Anderson is closing in on him. He's at 28. And this will be 29 right here.
He's got enough time if he can stay out front.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like we didn't get any green flag pitting this evening, did we? But close a couple times.
Very close. Now, you take a look at we're just going to go to the top 10, okay? And you had to look at that. And then, we're getting down to it. We're going to have about 22 laps to go, maybe 21 laps to go when we get down to it. If you were to look at that, just the top 10, who would be your pick to win this tonight?
Oh, man, I'm just watching the replay there. Mark Paglia, just, again, not a huge wreck, but just enough to bring out the yellow. Top 10 running right now?
Yeah.
I would say, see, like Anderson and Greg have been up front, like, the whole day. So
okay,
I'm
so
wondering maybe... I would lean away from that, actually. I would probably pick like maybe Negron or even Oaks.
Okay. We know Oaks has been in an incident earlier. Mm-hmm. We don't know how much damage he has.
But he's also been up there for a long time too.
Yep.
So
going Tim Anderson and Greg Lovell, two of the greatest super speedway races. Myself, I think I would go with Denny Carroll and Javier Negron. Ulysses Sandoval. Because, those two guys are one of the, they're not up front yet. And they do stress yet. And Denny Carroll will always be there. But, he doesn't always run near the front. And sometimes he's back there just saving and whatnot. Now, Denny Carroll's a good pick. But Greg Lovell and Tim Anderson, two great picks. But, if I was to go with the fact that, not the guys that have been just dominating this race per se, that's the route I would go. Denny Carroll and Ulysses Sandoval.
Okay.
Just thinking about it. Further back, I'd love to see Ken Roberts come up through here and win it. Obviously, I want to see, Robert Spring come up and win it.
I haven't seen Roberts win anything in a little while.
Yeah.
He'll go on a winning streak, though, and he'll be tough to beat. But today he was caught up in some incidents there, unfortunately. So Javier in fourth. Went into the pits in fourth, came out in fourth.
Looking back,
so those are all wave-around cars. There's Tim right there. So everybody in front of him is a wave-around car.
I'm just looking up through there. Jeffrey Elliott didn't take our...
Oh, they're pitting.
Take our invite to, come up into the booth tonight.
How dare he?
The nerve of that guy.
Oh, Frank Divots updating us in the YouTube chat there. Negron, Oaks, and Sandoval are all teammates. Yep, yeah, they're all part of Team Wrecking Ball. Yeah, we could just simplify that list and say who you think's going to win Team Wrecking Ball.
So Alton Sullins, you know, y'all don't have to guess who he's shooting for. Obviously, you know, Rodney Sullins is, you know, probably one of my favorites. Yeah,
Al's probably rooting for the 38, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Rodney Sullins get up there and, you know, at least in a podium finish. Love chatting to that guy because he, you know, he's awesome. But I'm just going by the, you know, the people that I know, what I think, you know, how they usually run. You know, I mean, there's not a driver out here that's really not great at this. You look at, you know, I'm just happy to look at old Buckshot there, Kelly Kaza. You know, he is, you know, a great super speedway racer. None of these guys are slouches. It's just a kind of a scenario where you just got to get, you know, the right people behind you, the right people there, and make the right decisions. And, you know, at the last lap, boy, you got to make that car wide.
Yeah, real wide.
Right now, there's been a little bit of a shake-up. Probably some of the drivers that did pit, I wasn't paying attention, but the control car right now is Javier Negron, outside Denny Carroll. Then we've got Alex Moe. I've talked about him, but haven't seen much of Alex Moe up in the front. Don't count that boy out because that is his MO. Especially when you get to Michigan. But he is a pretty darn good little shoe in that car. Rodney Sullins on the outside, Alton's favorite driver for the night.
Control car, like you said, Javier Negron, and the 40 on the inside, staying on the inside. Leaders do have lane choice. It does appear that we will be going around one more time. Some more cars taking the chance to pit. There you go, lights are off.
The man, the myth, the track designer, John Godfrey back there in the 5th position. Outside is Harry, I keep saying that, Ulysses Puppy Sandoval. You know, I miss my, you know, as Chris Elliott goes by to get his lap back. You know, Bob the Biscuit Seminara. He's not here in the house tonight, so I can't say that all the time. And Roberts back there in the 9th position. Steven Brandstetter, man, I'll tell you what, he has been right there all night long. There's a nice little dark horse pick, you know. It'd be nice to see Steve Brandstetter come out 20 laps ago, come out to come with this win and get a great interview with him. It would be awesome.
Currently sitting in 8th position right there. His fastest lap on the evening, 45.091 seconds.
Listen to him brag. He's got all that information. So
you have that information. You have everybody's best lap right on your replay screen.
I know, but that's not what I meant. You know, I forgot to turn that information on. So, you know, he's the guy. He's the smart guy that turned it on.
Yeah, well, I have to because I need to be able to see
Yeah.
all the stuff, and then the broadcast covers it up. Well, except for the menus when I'm looking for camera angles, like that stuff.
But
Try to keep it a secret that I'm going to cockpit cam when I'm highlighting it on the screen right here.
Quickly, going to go through the retirements of the night. That is Mark Paglia, Sean Turner, Brian Wilson, Robert Breedlove, the 44, Brian Lovell. I did not realize he was out. The 17 of Chuck McClure, the 26, Billy Elliser. It says Luckadoo is still running, but I think he left. Perry Vaughn, Greg Palmer. Yep, I'm going to get this right. Why can't I see
too bad. Like that last accident claimed a few cars.
Yeah. So moving around from the high side to the bottom. Ulysses Sandoval did not want to be on that high side. He got down right there behind Javier Negron. Now we do know Javier Negron, him are teammates, so they will work together. Garland Oaks is the other one. That's Team Wrecking Ball. Probably the only Toyotas out there in the field tonight. A lot of Chevys. Everybody likes the Chevys.
Yeah.
Leading the pack right now, no surprise. Denny Carroll, we're getting down to over less than 20 laps to go, and that boy has shown his way out front. Now the question is, everybody, you're Denny Carroll. Right now, you don't care what's going on out in front of you. You might look up just quick enough to make sure you're not going to hit the fence, but you're going to look in that rearview mirror. Where everybody else goes, you're going to make sure that the line that has the momentum, you're going to be in front of it. Is that Tim? Or is that, nope, that's Dan Lovell. On the bottom there, and they're trying to get something to happen down there, way at the bottom. But he just can't seem to form up. He manages to get himself back on that upper groove. So right now,
I think if you go from that far back, you got to start making it happen now, because that's a while out still.
Now you got to think about it like this: can Denny Carroll make it on fuel? You know what I mean? We're questionable. We don't know. But bear in mind, he is also control car out front. He is the guy that's braking all the air. You notice everybody behind him, nobody's racing him, nobody's trying to, pull out, get out there. What are all these guys behind him doing? They're saving fuel. So they could be really, really close on fuel, so they're just kind of going, hey Denny, have fun out there, lead these laps, have a good time, waste that fuel. If you're back there where we're going to go with John Godfrey and Ken Roberts, you're in the greatest position. That's the first cars that are really getting the advantage of, you're going to be lifting a lot more. Although you keep an eye on Javier Negron, when he goes down the straightaway, if he's not pushing Denny Carroll, really got the bumper right to him, he's saving fuel.
I'm trying to think, because they were just outside of a fuel window.
Yep.
It might be close.
It might be very close. They may be okay. I don't know.
And we're not 100% familiar with Daytona. Like, we know Talladega, they're running 18, 19, 20 laps. Here, it's a couple extra, but not. If you're clutching like crazy, how much can you actually get? Probably 25?
Some of them might be just hoping on for, a late race caution. But I'm telling you right now, you've seen, earlier in the race, we saw Greg Lovell, right in the back of Tim Anderson, just pushing him down the straightaway, keeping him out there, keeping him up front. Watch Javier Negron. He's not pushing Denny Carroll. He's saving. There's no reason for him. They're straight. They're in the line, saving, conserving. I think, they're letting, Denny Carroll out there just wear out the gas. Look, nobody's pushing. So now the speeds, we're not going to show it. They're not, dropping. They're a little bit slower than they normally would be, but that's because they're not bumping each other. Everybody behind them is just conserving.
Waiting for that moment to strike, really.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just letting him burn off the fuel. He's pulling them around the racetrack. Nobody's pushing. You see Graham McDonald on the high side out there trying to make that third groove back to work, but that's the only line that you'll probably see pushing, just because that's the only way they're going to make an advantage on that third groove, is to be pushing. Will that change the philosophy? Maybe not. I say that, and then Javier kind of got into the back of Denny. They're pushing him down that straightaway, but I think that wasn't by choice. I think U-Man kind of gave him a little shot, which pushed him up into Denny Carroll.
And that high line does work. We saw it throughout the race. It was the dominant line, but then now it's just, there's so many cars in that middle lane. Somebody wrecking right there.
Oh, I turn around and look to see the backside of Keith Bynum's car not going the right direction. And remember, we do race back here tonight.
Is yellow up? I don't believe it is.
So Javier Negron pulls out. He's going to try to see if he can get by Denny Carroll, U-Man, and same teammates. I thought maybe they were going to get it done until Alex Moe got into the back of Denny Carroll.
Yeah.
He gave him a shot, and that just launched Denny Carroll right back out front.
Oh. They're touching some more. They're touching too much.
Ken Roberts go in there. See Rodney Solom's take a little bit of evasive action.
Wow. Mo. No? Oh wait, I'm looking for the Talladega start finish line.
Yeah.
Whoops.
No.
Denny Carroll, yeah.
Rodney Solom's little, I think there was a blade of grass down there that offended him. It was a little too high. He went down and took care of that. So now, the question is, now Denny Carroll's out front. Whether or not he could have made it, we questioned it because we don't know. Just because we're not normally doing the Daytona thing, we're doing the Talladega thing. So, this might be the saving grace for Denny Carroll, and maybe he can make it on fuel. We will really find out here if coming around pit stops are going to open. Are these guys going to pit? If they do, we know they can't make it. Maybe they're very, very close, and maybe they're good, and they're just out there running. So we don't. That's the information we don't know, being that it's Daytona and not Talladega.
Pits are open. We'll go back and look at the replay. I'm just curious what's going to happen here. So, see if we got any takers from the front. They've got to that grass. They do have that commitment.
Nobody.
Yeah, nobody. They're staying out, so I guess they can make it. There's
And Roberts obviously is involved in it. Ulysses Sandoval, Dennis McCarthy, Chris Elliott cars that just got back on the lead lap, and Keith Bynum.
Back it up here to see
Roberts
what happened. I did see a car get out of shape there. I wasn't 100% sure because of the camera angle who it was, so we're going to find that out right now. Looking back from the leader, so there's Denny in first. Okay, there it is. There, we can see it. It's Keith Bynum. Oh no, he's having the first half of his race was great, and it's not even that big of an accident really.
So do
it's
we
just a little bit of a door slap, and then he gets spun around there. Yeah.
Do we give the insight to the fans? Denny Carroll is clutching. Our current leader is definitely clutching. I jumped into the cockpit. He is definitely clutching to see, save fuel. Let's find out if Alex Moe is doing that.
I wonder. I mean, Carroll clutches all the time, no matter what.
Right.
I'm on board right now with the 48 of Alex Moe in second place. He's not.
Denny Carroll is definitely.
Yeah, you can hear the car go quiet, and you can see the tack go from 5,000 down to 2,000.
Graham McDonald is clutching. Tim Anderson's clutching. Greg Lovell's clutching. We do have some takers on pit road, though. It's kind of a 50-50 mixture up there. Drivers that are clutching and not clutching. So, granted, Denny Carroll was your leader, then running out front. So, he's going to be a little bit tighter on fuel. But other guys, they're a little further back. It's kind of like I said, 50-50. Lights are still on a pace car. Ulysses Sandoval is one of the cars down on pit road. He's making sure that he has plenty of fuel and 4 tires, as well as Dan Lovell. Those are the only 2 drivers that pitted the second time around. So 4 brand new tires and fuel, thinking maybe they can probably use that to their advantage to get through this field. Can't hurt at all. I always said you're not going to win the race doing the same thing everybody else is. Currently, right now, Denny Carroll is your control car. Alex Moe on the outside John Godfrey right out there in the 3rd spot. That's awesome to see. Javier Negron in 4th, Rodney Sullins 5th, Stephen Brandstetter 2nd, 6th. Inside the next row is Mike Mangialardi, and I believe I can't see the car. You have to give me a second. That is Terry Bombard back there in the 10th spot, quietly running very well tonight for him tonight, and just kind of just waiting it out. It's going to have about 10 laps or less to get this thing done. He's in a good position. Let's see if Terry can make his way up there and maybe steal a win away from these guys.
Yeah, I've focused on Terry a couple of times. He's just quietly just there, staying out of trouble. Currently there at the line, 8th position. That'll update. It might change to... No, it'll stay at 8th.
Just looking over the chat, Randy Waugh, not here tonight. I would imagine he probably would have been. Him and Corey are at a baseball game tonight, and to see some fireworks for the 4th. And pulling for Denny, Corey says we are watching. So shout out there to Corey and Randy Waugh. Enjoy your baseball game and your fireworks. And Denny Carroll currently right on the point, the control car. Got himself in the right situation coming to the end of this race. Let's see if Denny Carroll can get it done.
Yeah.
If you had to re-rack and think about who you're going to pick, well, Javier Negron, he's in the back. I've already picked him, but I still think Javier is going to come back up through there. But Denny Carroll's looking good. Alex Moe, we've talked about him, because why? Because it's Alex Moe. But he hasn't really been running up
Bombard
front.
and Brandstetter as well, right? Like those guys have been hanging around.
But Alex Moe hasn't been up front all night long. He's been quietly just staying out of trouble.
He's that guy.
What do we know? What do we know about Alex Moe?
He always hides.
Yeah, always hides. But he gets down to it. Where is he? He's right up there, ready to strike. So I wouldn't put it past Alex Moe to be able to come out and win this race.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Damn good call, because Alex Moe is just one of them savvy, drivers that just shows up at the end of these races. Race car is going to make that trip down pit road. Control car, Denny Carroll outside, as we said. Alex Moe, John Godfrey, and Javier Negron out on the outside there. Rodney Sullins and Steve Brandstetter at your top 6 as we go green. I'm surprised just the way those restarts have gone. Javier Negron did not get a great start. So, Alex Moe on the outside was not going to get a lot of help. John Godfrey just elected to abandon Denny Carroll, go up to the high side, get behind Alex Moe. Alex Moe is going to have a better pushing partner on the backstretch. Rodney Sullins has not got to Denny Carroll's rear bumper. So the outside line currently right now it's got the better run going. We'll see how it works out going into the corner. At these super speedways, we've kind of seen how the inside usually gets the better run in, and sometimes at Talladega they get the better run off. We kind of see it mix and max around here tonight at Daytona.
Well, you're talking too about these guys early in the race, learning maybe what they can do, trying different lines, trying to find a way to, where can I be? Where should I be at the end? I wonder if they learned anything or if they're just going for it. Because, does Moe stay in the middle, right? Like where he is right now in that middle lane? Or does he move down to the bottom?
So, you know how my answer to that question is going to be? It all depends on what he sees in his rearview mirror. Right now, Alex Moe is going down this straightaway at about almost 200 miles an hour looking in the rearview mirror.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be like 85%, 90% rear view all day right now.
He's watching what John Godfrey's doing. He's watching what Javier Negron, how Steve Brandstetter, Terry Bombard. They're all the 5 cars behind him on the outside. But he's also keeping an eye on, who's on that inside lane. That's Denny Carroll. If that inside lane starts to go, is it going to give them more, get more momentum than the high side? Right now, like I said, not looking out the front, all keeping an eye on it. Right now, John Godfrey's going to stay right behind him. Why? Because it's too early. But pretty soon, we're going to get down to it. We're going to get about 3 laps to go. You're going to start seeing drivers make a move, and then Alex Moe is going to try to block and try to keep himself in front of every move they make.
Just the spot you don't really want to be in, but maybe you do. I mean, Alex is no stranger to the front row of these things, so.
Well, like I said earlier,
he's cool as a cucumber, I would assume.
Yeah. Earlier, I was out front in one of the 10 lap sprints, and I knew I was in trouble. And Tim Anderson and 2 guys just went to the high side, and stole the win from me. And I knew it was coming. But Alex Moe, he's a veteran here. He's going to keep track there. He's just going to see right there. Tim Anderson just went to the bottom. I guarantee you, he knows that. He's keeping an eye on him. What is he doing? Does he have help? Looks back there, no help for Tim Anderson. Made the move by himself. Well, it's cutthroat, business up here racing. You pull out, you think everybody's going to go with you, and they don't go with you. So, you know that's not going to work. So you can see Alex Moe starting to look towards the bottom side. John Godfrey looked down.
Yeah.
That's where he's going to go.
He's peaking. But he's going to need the 40 really on him. Wow, that was close.
Look at what Alex Moe's doing now. Before, he was running the high side. Now he's running the middle. Why do you run the middle? Well, that gives you more options. Gives you the fact that you can get to the high line or the low line quicker. If you're only running the high line or the very low line, you don't have as much options. Running right there in the middle helps out. Graham McDonald's got that third groove out there on the outside blowing. He's got Rodney Sullins behind him.
Nope, it's in the bottom now.
Oh, Greg Lovell kind of gets shoved down on the apron. It's going to slow him down just a little bit.
Top line coming. Graham McDonald had to lift there.
Is Alex going to have a chance to get up in front of Negron? No.
Nope.
Not going to make it.
That upper
right
line
now, Branstetter behind pushing Javier Negron.
Big push on the bottom.
Oh, yes,
wow.
You got Graham McDonald on the high side with Rodney Sullins, Kelly Conza, and them guys pushing. Getting down to it and coming around here. It's going to be 3 to go.
We haven't been talking about Kelly Causey, but he's up on that high line, that pitch black car, 0-0. He's been floating around near the back most of the race. And they were all getting great runs there that last lap. This spectator camera is awesome.
3 laps to go. Alex Moe out front. He's got John Godfrey and Terry Bombard. We talked about Terry a minute ago. Look at him now. He's currently running 3rd spot. We might get to interview Terry Bombard tonight.
Yeah, we were talking about him. Like, you know what? He's been there. Like,
been
why
there
not?
All night.
Why not?
Not necessarily up out in the front. He's been patiently just staying there, hanging out. Remember, this race does not pay to win. There is no points. It's all bragging rights to say, I won this race, and you get to be the champion for the next year.
And it could almost be, because they set this apart by making it a 250-mile race. It's a little bit of an endurance race because it is a bit. It's a pretty good chunk longer than most races that we're used to running. So,
Greg Lovell comes from the bottom, up in front of Graham McDonald. He doesn't want to sit down in a line that's not going to go. Alex Moe is defending that bottom. That's his right to do. It's what he's going to do is going to defend. He's looking out there everywhere, more in the front. John Godfrey. Oh no! John Godfrey's turn. This is going to be for the end of the race. It's getting even worse back there. Alex Moe's got a great lead, but
Rodney
Sullins get to him?
Nope.
No.
McCarthy.
Grace, you forget about the fact that the start-finish line would have been further down because we're so accustomed to that. Yeah. All right, it's awesome. Alex Moe, Rodney Sullins, and Dennis McCarthy finishes in that's your top 3. And I hate to say it this way.
This is the white flag. They still have to make it to the checkers, so it's not over yet.
Nothing can break. But Dennis McCarthy, how many laps has Dennis McCarthy led tonight?
Dennis McCarthy has 0.
No, what they're wrecking each other, so we got to be a little cautious back here because we still got to finish this race.
Yeah, they're slapping each other around, congratulating Alex on the win.
He hasn't won it yet.
He hasn't won it yet. You got to get to the line. Right now, we're looking at Sullins, and he's in front of everyone.
That was a wicked finish, though.
That was great.
That was great.
But you take, like Dennis McCarthy, we were talking about him before everybody
There's
started
no
getting a
doubt.
little out of hand there. But, you know, Dennis McCarthy's been running strong all night. Not out front, just kind of mid-pack, staying out of trouble, you know, doing what
That's a
he can do.
shame. Terry got caught in that wreck.
It is, you know, because he was doing so well. Nothing I don't see, there he comes, okay.
I was going to say, McCarthy's due up here, too, and he's hard to miss because he's got the Jeff Gordon car.
Yeah,
The vintage one.
We've had that conversation because I'm not a big Jeff Gordon fan, and unfortunately I've hit him a couple of times, and it's not because he's a Jeff Gordon fan. It just hasn't been my luck, you know.
Well, there you go. It's official. A checkered flag in the hand of Packerstown, also known as Alex Moe, 48. Now you can congratulate him without spinning him, guys.
Yeah, that'd be a wise choice. Very cool to see, you know, Alex Moe. I hadn't seen him up front all night long. Get down to it, you know, excellent strategy. Got himself out front, got himself with the win. Rodney Sullins had been running, you know, near the front all night long. You know, comes out with it, and you know, was able to get the second place finish. And like I said, Dennis McCarthy, we knew he was right there. He just wasn't, you know, up in the front part of it, able to come out at the end of it and, you know, put himself into a, you know, third place finish for the night. Now, like we said, you know, who's going to remember next year who got second? Probably not a lot of people. We all are going to know one thing, that Alex Moe was your winner tonight for the Firecracker 400 at TRL.
Yep.
Now, how many of us picked Alex Moe for the win? None.
Yeah, yeah. I could lie and say I did, but...
Had Javier Negron, and I forget who the other driver was. You picked a couple, and neither one of them drivers were able to pull it off tonight.
I would have picked Paglia, too, if he didn't, unfortunately, you know, got wrecked out.
Come on, now, give him a break.
There's too many good names, man. Like,
Oh, yeah.
we know all these guys. These guys are all phenomenal drivers. Otherwise, they wouldn't be out here doing this. You know, we just ran 100 laps at Daytona, and we only had, what, 3 or 4 yellows? And
Yeah. But you would think that Alex Moe would, you know, figure out that, you know, I can do this for a little while. I've done this enough time. I can do it. And no, he's still excited about every single win. He's going to continue until he has no tires on the back of that car.
Yep. Burn him down.
I don't think he's got much left. All right. I think he's done playing, done goofing. Let's see if we can find Dennis McCarthy. Dennis McCarthy, you have Rod Blaine in the Tarnation TV booth live. You got a copy.
Hey now.
How you doing, Rod, Blaine? How you guys doing tonight?
Doing awesome, buddy. Talked about at the end of this, you know, you ran kind of mid-pack, you know, never got up front, really, you know, showed your hand, per se, I guess is the best way to put it. We get down to the end of this race, and by God, boy, you're right there. And, you know, not a win, but all in all, come out in a third place finish tonight. Yeah, you got to be pretty proud. You ran a great race.
Actually, yeah, just before the last start, I was 22nd. And I was saying to the guys, I'm disappointed, kept the car clean, stayed mid-pack, and just couldn't get anything going. The third lane didn't really want to run tonight, which I get. We didn't have any green flag caution, so we stayed pretty jumbled the whole race. And just tried to keep the car there. I was actually damaged. I needed somebody to push, so I was kind of forcing my hand in front of people just to get their help. But nice to come through with a third place finish.
Especially with a damaged car. Now, so you talked a little bit about the third group. We're very accustomed to running, you know, the well, we call it originally the burnt screwdriver, and now, you know, the RTG version 4. We're already familiar with that track. 3 grooves are definitely, you know, awesome. Did you feel when you got out there you needed, per se, the way I want to put it is, you know, not only more drivers but more understanding and, you know, quality drivers, I guess is the way to put it. Nobody here was really a slouch at it, but you know there's guys out there that you get behind, you know that when you do, you guys could possibly make that 3rd groove. Did you think you had to have more quality and on top of that maybe more cars to make that 3rd groove on the outside work tonight?
Absolutely right. You hit it right on the head. Handful of us that feel comfortable in this 3rd lane at Daytona. It's a whole different game than Talladega, and then you had guys that were trying to do it, but they were a little timid, so the line wouldn't move, and then you'd have to feather yourself back into the middle lane and then try to give it again. But you know, that's the way you got to get through here. You got to have three lanes, or it's just going to be a boring race for you guys to call.
Never a boring race for us to call, but I went out there and I practiced a little bit, you know, played around in the, you know, the sprint races, just had a little bit of time to kill, but I also wanted to get, you know, a little more insight. What I liked about it myself, you know, I race with you on Thursday night at the RTG, and occasionally I do the ASR thing on Saturday when we're not doing the broadcasting. And I don't like the bottom groove coming off of 2. To me, it's just way too tight. Tonight, the setup, I don't know whether it was the setup or being Daytona or the way it was, I didn't feel that bottom groove coming off of 2 being so tight. How did it feel for you?
I agree 100% on that. In the RTG, the burnt screw, you know, you tend to drift if you don't hit it the right way on the low line. Here, I felt super comfortable. Felt like the setup, I could put my car wherever I wanted to go. And it was just a matter of getting the right, you know, teammates with you. And wish there wasn't so many cautions who could have a couple of green flags and really sorted things out. But still a great race. I want to thank Graham and Primetime Racing for putting this on. You guys, Tarnation TV, for calling the race. Just a nice night.
I like it when you guys, you know, you drivers are like, I'm done answering questions. I'm just going to give my, you know, thanks and stuff. I want to get out of here.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying.
I'm giving Blaine a chance to ask you a question.
I saw Blaine on mute. I didn't know he was going to ask. What you got, Blaine?
Oh, no, trust me. I always put him under the bus. I go through and then I just go, Blaine, what? Oh, hey, Blaine, you got any questions for Dennis?
I put myself on mute because this keyboard is very loud and I'm saving up all the replays and stuff. But I'm still listed. But yeah, man, these longer races, are you a fan of these things? Like, they're like not really an endurance race, I guess, but it is it's a pretty good chunk longer than most of these things.
I do like them when you're not wrecked early, and it's really, in essence, a fun race, so to speak, so points aren't on the line. So catching a little damage at the end, definitely better than when you catch it on the first 5 or 10 laps.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do like the longer races.
You know, before we give the chance to do the shout outs, he goes, yeah, it's not great when you get wrecked early, because on Thursday I've kind of gotten in the back of Dennis a couple of times, and I didn't mean to. I'm trying to work with him and everything, but you know, you also have to understand I'm not a big Jeff Gordon fan, so everybody that knows me would say, well, you know, you hit him because it's a Jeff Gordon fan. No, I just have not timed. I am still trying to learn the super speedway thing. That's why I'm there at Thursday night, to not only to learn, but to gain the respect of the other drivers. My goal was to get into the top 30 and just, you know, not win it, but just get there and be there and be able to get the respect. And I've had you follow me over there for a few laps, and you know, you got like, nope. Yeah, no, this guy's not going to get me to the front. And so, you know, the way you put that, having the right drivers around you are definitely a big plus. But
Rod, I've been there. You know, I'm doing the same now. I'm in the top 30 at RTG, but the first season, that was my goal. Slow steps over there. That's the cream of the cream of racing there. And been that guy. I've been the doormat for a lot of times, and understand you got to gain the respect of guys. And a lot of great drivers here. I want to give a shout out to Rodney with that DuPont paint job that he does for me. I do that just to annoy people. He's painted me 3 other beautiful cars. So it's either that or my Dallas Cowboys cars. One of those two are really going to annoy people.
I'm a Chicago Bears fan, but there's a long story behind that, and you don't have time. We will give you the opportunity, buddy, to get there and thank anybody and everybody that you would like to thank for getting here, or whatever you want to say, my friend. The floor is yours.
Well, once again, thanks, Graham, for running this, Tarnation TV, and all my teammates at Redline Racing Performance, and our painter, Rodney. It's nice to have all the guys out there tonight.
All right. Well, congratulations on your third place finish. And you do know we did mention this earlier, so you are going to remember next year who won this. They're not going to remember who finished third, but that's okay. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
That was a great race. Good job, bud.
Thank you, boys. Have a happy 4th, everybody.
Thank you.
He's in. Whoops! I did do that right. He's in Canada. You're thinking.
I had a happy first, but yeah, you have a happy 4th also.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. All right. Rodney Sellens, you got Blaine and Rod live in the Tarnation TV booth. You got a copy.
I do, fellas. How you doing?
Hey now.
You're pulling for you, my friend, but just a little short. Dad was on the TeamSpeak there, the chat, pulling for you and everything. You ran up front most of the night, not necessarily leading the race, but you were always right there. You made some pretty good decisions at the end. Ended up getting yourself up there into the second place finish. You tell me, what did I miss for the race tonight from watching you run tonight? Caught him.
Several of the restarts, whatever lane I was in, that was the worst lane that got the start. That was kind of frustrating. Got a really good start that one on the outside line, and I don't know if what happened, if they stacked behind me or lost, whatever. But I looked up and there was 2 or 3 car lengths between me and the next car, and the low line just took off. It was a good race. It's a fun race. I'd like to have seen more passing, more racing. It's a little too single file for my taste. For a fun race especially. But I had a good time. Yeah, there were several incidents where I had to make some evasive moves, and made it through all of them. Of course, if this would have been a points race and it mattered, I'd have got caught up in all of them probably.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. But all in all, good race. Finished well, but again, split the wreck. That's how I got where I was at.
So I asked Dennis a little bit about this, and I'm sure you felt the same way. I run there on Thursday with you guys down at RTG, and the one thing I don't like the bottom, especially off the exit of 2. Just seem very, very kind of tight to get off the corner there. Tonight, I did a few of the sprint races with the guys, and it really seemed like coming off of 2, the setup was actually pretty decent. It just may not have been, you had to get more people in that third groove if you wanted to make that third groove work.
Yeah, the inside line here, you've got to have, everybody's got to be close and pushing. If you get a little bit of gap in the third or fourth car, it's not going to go anywhere. These lanes are pretty even here at Daytona. But any of the lanes here, you've got to have a good pushing. The outside's the hardest one. You got to have people commit and stay there. It's kind of like over at Talladega V4 on Thursdays. As soon as that third lane happens, everybody bails on the second lane. But if you go back to seasons past and look, the middle lane could hold its own for several laps. But now everybody's got it in their head that if the third lane comes, you got to start bailing, and it makes its way over into the other tracks sometimes too. It's unfortunate. If you just have a little patience and stick with it, things will happen.
All right, Blaine, do you have any questions for Rodney? Other than the guy does amazing paints, so don't ask him anything about that. He's really good at it.
I was thinking, when you talk about you wish there was more passing, do you think the race length had something to do with that? Being such a long race that people are just don't really want to risk it?
I don't know. Because I said something on TeamSpeak in the race, about this is the middle line 100, and somebody said it'll pick up at the end, and I'm like, I'm sure it will, but I didn't say anything. I just let go of the mic. And my thought was, this is a fun race. Let's get out here and have fun.
Right.
If you wind up on your roof on lap 1, it is what it is. You just watch the race on YouTube.
Yeah, there's no points involved. Like, why not keep pushing that 3 wide envelope? But then it's a super long race too, and people want to be part of it. So I guess it's kind of on the fence of like, we could go hard the whole time, but then it's extra fatiguing too, right? Mentally and physically trying to hold on to that thing.
Yeah, like I say, I just wanted to have fun. I had a good time tonight, but there was parts in the race that it was very frustrating, very boring. So that's just me. I mean, well, there's a few people that I know felt the same way, but yeah, I mean, I get it. Everybody wants to be around at the end, but I did a lot of outside, inside, trying to do stuff, and I made it around to the end. I did get lucky, dodged a few wrecks, but like I say, it's just a fun race. Just wanted to race, just get out there, and if I wound up on my roof, so be it.
Ended out for a great night for you, finishing second. But so we'll give you the opportunity to, obviously I know you're going to thank Dad because he's in the chat, or rooting for you all night long. But thank the people that got you, or anybody you want to thank. So the floor is yours.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I thought the night was going to start off pretty crazy anyway, because I got ready to qualify and I lost first and second gear. I left pit road in third gear. I was lucky to qualify in ninth. But thanks to you guys, obviously Blaine and Rod at Tarnation TV for doing this. And, I apologize if I'm sounding too negative tonight, about the race. I had a good time. I was just looking for a lot of white knuckle, all night long kind of racing, and Daytona can give you that sometimes. But Primetime and Graham, they do a great job. It's a great place to race, and all the admins here, I appreciate everything they do, and anybody that donates to this league to keep it going. It's good times over here. Black Rifle Coffee, Andy, Savannah Brisa Wickers, thanks to my sponsors, my RPM teammates. Congrats Alex on the win, nice run. Dennis McCarthy, and of course, thank Dad, cousin Eric, and Kevin. I know at least Dad was watching. Appreciate you guys watching. Love you guys. Thanks very much. And to everyone that it matters to, have a happy 4th of July.
There you go. Yeah. Second place finisher tonight. Awesome job there, Rodney, and looking forward to racing with you on Thursday.
I'll see you then, man. Thanks, guys.
Have a good weekend, Rodney. Thanks.
You too, man. Thank you.
All right. We get to the final interview guy for the night, possibly. I don't know if we're going to grab
not the race winner, just the interview guy.
Yeah, interview guy. You've got Rob Blaine live on Tarnation TV. Alex Moe, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. What's going on, guys?
We watched the race.
Yes, we did.
Oh, Alex Moe's in this. Yeah.
Happens every time.
Watching the race. Where's Alex Moe, we think? Nowhere. No, nowhere. And all of a sudden, this race gets down kind of close to the conclusion. Nothing that, Alex Moe's well known for. And the guy comes out with the win. So, you're going to have to tell us a little bit more about your night, because we were focused kind of sort of on the front. We look a little back here. But you weren't there all night, and all of a sudden you were. What was the strategy to get you up there, bud?
You guys know me too well. Well, given that it's Daytona and not Talladega, track position's a lot more important. It's a lot harder to get track position here at Daytona than it is Talladega. So, for the most part, at least until halfway, my strategy was pretty normal. Just hang in the back and avoid the wrecks, and there was definitely a fair share of wrecks in this race, and a couple that I was really close to being involved in. So that had me a little nervous, but coming down to the end there in the last 35-40 laps, me and a few others could tell that it might come down to fuel mileage. So I got lucky, and on that probably final pit stop where we needed fuel, I got lucky and a few guys pitted, and I stayed out along with a few others and knew that if we clutched it, we could probably make it to the end, even if it had stayed green there in the last 15 laps or so. So that final pit stop there kind of gained me the track position I needed. I think I got up to third, and then it was just a race from there on out. I got to shout it out to John Godfrey in the 7-Eleven. He stuck with me there on that final restart. He gave me the push I needed and got me out front. And then, what a shame that that him and a lot of other guys got involved in that last wreck there. But strategy-wise, yeah, I got the track position I needed at the end and just rode with it and pulled through with the win. And I haven't even raced in 2 months. I've been busy with life and family and stuff. This is the first time I've raced anywhere in the past at least month and a half, 2 months. So to come back and pull out a win, I couldn't be happier tonight.
So you think about it, though, all the people out there that are listening, to Alex Moe doing his speech. We always talk about the super speedway stuff. How, Alex Moe is well known for, is absolutely super at the Michigan races, one of the top guys to beat. But you show up here tonight, and ended up winning it. But yet, that you don't win these races without somebody behind you, somebody pushing you. And so having John Godfrey, behind you at the right moment, like you said, unfortunately he got tangled up in that last little bit of wreck, and that got you out front. I was myself a little nervous for you before. You still had 1 lap to go under caution. The celebrations to say, "Hey, Alex Moe, you won this race," began a little bit early back on the backstretch. They were beating on you pretty heavy, and the race wasn't even done yet.
Yeah, those last 5 laps. Those last 5 laps, I was getting a little nervous because I didn't know what they were going to do behind me. I saw them, go 2 wide, then they went 3 wide. I was ready to, jump up and block, and just so I can keep my momentum, and then come into the white flag there. That's when that big wreck happened, and after cruising to the line, I knew that I had it won.
But down the backstretch.
And then on the final,
and
then on the final pace lap there, I think a couple guys thought that the race was over, but we were still on the white flag, so they were just trying to give me some congratulatory bumps, and I got turned and everything. But I think hopefully the finishing order, the standings, they all got back into place and got it sorted out. But it was just a fun race, man. It's just glad to be back in the driver's seat here, at least for tonight. I miss these guys. I miss their voices. I miss you guys. I do check out some of your broadcasts at other leagues. When I'm bored or at night, I'll just flip through and look at the cautions and some of the commentary and stuff. But I just wasn't quite expecting, just to come back for my first race in a couple months and win it. But hey, I'll take it. Every win is a win.
He flips through us when he's bored. I'll check it. Let's go see what these.
I don't mean it like that, but
I know.
Gross,
that's the way you
3-hour
said it. I'm
broadcast.
just saying, he just kind of flips through. Let's go what these broadcast guys are doing tonight. You know what I mean? Just giving you a hard time, but always known you to be a, not only a great racer but a respectable racer, and you ran a great race tonight, and we figured that when you got down to you just were going to be using that rearview mirror. Fortunately for you, you got to the line. You didn't have that last lap. You still got hit, bumped around, but you were already technically if you got to get it to the start finish line, you had that one. But Blaine, do you have any questions for Alex Moe before we give him the chance to give some shout-outs?
Yeah, I've sort of talked with the other guys too, like this sort of almost being an endurance race, and then you're coming back into it for the first time in a while. Do you find it fatiguing adding on an extra 100 miles, or is it just another day at the office?
Not really. I had some stuff going on where I was on the phone for probably the first third of the race or so. That was a little fatiguing, trying to drive in traffic at 197 and driving with one hand in Daytona. It like a couple guys said during the race, it does throw your car around a little bit more than Talladega or Primetime, all those Dega variants they run. So that was a little fatiguing. But once I settled in and kind of realized what was going on, okay. And then in the last 40 laps, we were like, all right, pit strategy, fuel strategy started coming into play. I more mentally got back into the game. And if that had gone green there at the end, that last lap and a half, I might not have won this race. I mean, those guys were starting to shuffle real hard behind me, and I was ready to throw some blocks, and who knows, it could have been a bad block, and I would have ended up being the one who wrecked the whole field. I feel bad for John. John deserved second place. He ran, I see he has bad luck in some of these other races, and he was up front right there at the end, gave me the push I needed, and just for him to get bumper hooked or whatever happened there on the last wreck, I gotta check out the replay later. I just feel bad for him and the guys behind him that got involved with that, who were also having a good run. But it's racing, and like I said, Daytona, you got to have the track position here. It's a lot harder to come through traffic here than it is at Talladega. So me, Rodney, Dennis, Tim, Dan, the rest of the field, we got it done. But it is unfortunate for the guys who got wrecked there at the end after having a good race.
All right. Well, congratulations on the win. Like we always say, you're going to be the Firecracker 400 and a PRL champion for the next year. That who got second place, we won't know in a couple of days, anyways. But give you a chance to thank anybody and everybody you'd like to. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. It's 4th of July weekend. I hope everyone out there has a safe and happy 4th. Shout out to our troops, all those in the line of duty who continue to fight for our freedom, and those lost in the recent Iran war. Just want to give a shout out to Graham and Keith. They're the admins here that put on these PRL races. I think Graham did the majority of the organizing for this race, and he did a good job getting the word out. We had quite a few more guys that showed up than guys that just signed up, on the Facebook group. So shout out to everyone that showed up, put on a great race, and just shout out to Lowe's Chevrolet. I got my running my 2013 Coca-Cola 600 patriotic scheme here tonight. I haven't ran this one in a while. I think it's good. I should run it more. And just shout out to the NR community. Thanks for you guys keeping this game alive. Some of us can't race as much as we'd like to anymore, but that's just how life goes. So just want to hope everyone has a safe and happy 4th and race on.
There you go. Tonight's winner, Alex Moe, is going to be known as for the next year as the Firecracker 400 champion. Congratulations, bud.
Thanks. Have a good night, guys. Woo!
Thanks for the support, Alex. Have a good weekend, dude.
Yes, sir. Good to hear you guys. Take care. We'll see you around more, hopefully.
We'll be here.
That's a
nice person.
Yes. Do you think we ought to grab Graham McDonald for a quick second just to give him a shout out? Graham McDonald, you have Rod and Blaine live in the Tarnation TV booth. You have a copy.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I hope we didn't catch you get in the middle of something there, trying to get some stuff done. But we just wanted to congratulate you. Great, successful race, and thank you for inviting us to come by and and do it for you. It was an awesome race tonight.
Yeah, it was going along pretty good. I was trying to make a move at the end there.
Yeah.
Got cut short.
Yeah, it was a good race, man. I got the 100 laps. It seems like it was going to take forever, but man, it was over. It felt like it was over pretty quick. It was a great race.
Yeah, we ended up finishing about the time we normally do on a Friday night.
Yeah.
So, real quick, I know you guys run here on Friday nights, and I do believe you do something on Sunday. It'll give you a chance to go down the PRL rundown, even though, the stuff you guys may do on the Mondays and Tuesdays, just to, go down, let the people know if they are interested in coming and racing at Primetime Racing League. What nights are you open? What do you guys do on those nights?
Well, Friday nights we run the CWS 15 trucks at our own version of Talladega. And then Sundays are the I can't think of it. I think it's the Aero 88s. And Tuesday is the original Cup version of the game.
Right, so the trucks are a Friday night thing, but today it was just a special event because of the long weekend.
Yeah, because
Gotcha.
a lot of people didn't know if they would be around for our regular race. So we had a special race so nobody missed out on any points.
It's funny how they're like, yeah, we're not sure we're going to be there, and then tonight you got 35 people show up. Still at a full race server.
Yeah, I think all the people said they wouldn't be able to make it were here.
Yeah. No, it's cool though, because it's a lot of fun to do these special events, like an elongated race like that's kind of neat. I've said that it's not an endurance race per se, because it's not like a full 100%er, but an extra 100 miles, it definitely takes a while.
Yeah. Maybe next year we'll have to do our own Talladega track and maybe have a few less cautions.
Still a good run though, but yeah. Thanks, Graham, for having us in to do this, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for doing it.
All right, bud. Well, I just wanted to give you a chance to, just let everybody else know what PRL is, what they do, nights they race, and if you're interested, it's all fixed setup. The game is free, and it's a great group of guys over here if you want to come over and race and have some fun.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Graham, again.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
Good night.
You can see our schedule here on the screen there. The 7th, which is Tuesday, we're here again at Daytona with the Maverick Cup Series. Benjamin in the YouTube chat. Tuesday, we do it again at Daytona. Maverick, last race for who's MCS? Last race for MCS at Daytona with Cup Physics. Oh, I know.
They're going to the truck physics.
Yeah, they're using truck physics in the CTS physics in 2027, but because they've already locked into 2026, they're just going to use the Cup. But yeah, that'll be good. We'll be running over there again on Tuesday, so come join us there. Broadcast goes live at 8:15, and we start talking about 15 minutes after that. Of course, Thursday we're back at Rolling Thunder with the Talladega Challenge. And other such things pending. I know ASR is on its way back with season
Saturday.
3. They've got sponsored races coming up, and it's a whole bunch of cool
Different
stuff
animals,
going on over there too. So sorry.
Same animal, but different concept.
Yeah, a little bit
Same
more
racing,
colorful.
same all that, just a little bit different sponsors for each night.
Yeah. Still, main carrier would be Bryant Motorsport Auto Sales, but yeah, they're trying to figure out a way to generate. Some money for paying for race servers and TeamSpeak and all that stuff, and that's usually what they do. Just guys can throw some money down to sponsor, and Tarnation TV will be there to broadcast the thing, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a fun race. That was a good race to watch.
Yeah, it's cool. Daytona is a lot of fun. Like it's like you said too, the setup was good.
We didn't pick Alex Moe, but remember we picked out of who was in the top 10 at that moment, and Alex Moe was not there. Like we said, well known for his, people might say antics, but his smart ability to just stay out of trouble, and then when, it comes time to turn up the wick, Alex Moe is always there. So, a very, very good driver in this NASCAR 2003 community.
Yeah, he hangs out, not causing a ruckus, and then all of a sudden he's there at the end. So he wins another one here, and super fun, super cool talking to him. And cool looking car, which is obviously what he said too. He dug that paint scheme out of retirement. So cool, very neat. And of course, thanks to Frank Divids for supplying the graphics and that video at the start. Well, we could play that again. That was cool. Let's just play that again. It doesn't really make sense at the end of the broadcast, but it was.
Get ready for the Firecracker 400, presented by the Primetime Racing League, only on Tarnation TV.
I don't know. I dig it. I think that's cool. I mean, it's artificial intelligence, but we're just hanging out in a 23-year-old sim, so nobody's... if I saw something like that on NBC, I'd be kind of angry. like, why would you use ChatGPT to create a commercial? I'm like, because we're just playing NASCAR 2003 season and it's neat. That's what I think. I don't even know how to do that stuff. They sent that over to me today. I'm like, man, that's crazy. And that AI voice guy said, I mentioned at the start of the broadcast, he actually pronounced Tarnation properly, which was cool. I wonder how many times Frank had to do that, actually, because sometimes I think you have to spell words differently for the computer person to say it properly. So I wonder what the battle was to make that thing work. But either way, that was pretty cool.
I'm a little older than you are, and I can remember when the computer was this huge brick. And I mean, not towers that you have nowadays. And our fun is what we could do with it was to start up a program where we could type in a word, and then it had to. It would say it, and then we would have to figure out how to spell it correctly, so the computer could say it right. And and that was it. That was the whole fun we were having. Not playing a game where we're on 3 screens and we're shooting gray horse or whatever. We're literally hey, we'll type in name. What does it sound like? It doesn't sound like name, so what do? We got to change this. We got to change that. Yeah, and that's what we did for fun. So yeah.
Yeah, it is one of those things where, yeah, I kind of remember a similar kind of thing, which is pretty funny how you had to spell stuff strange.
Yes.
Yeah.
To make it work.
Yeah, to make it like how would it actually look? But Frank's he's still in the YouTube chat. One time, typed in, he sent the logos, typed in the title, and it came out like that. Wow, that thing didn't even need any tweaking. That's super cool. But
so we don't do Saturday. I'm just going through. We got our Nexus Maverick on Tuesday night.
Yes.
In the Daytona, we have Andrew. Is it Andrew that's coming with us in the booth, I believe, or who do we have in the booth with us?
For
do we have for Tuesday? I know Benjamin's trying to get a third. Do we have a third yet, or is it just going to be you and I, which is not a problem. We can handle that. But
yeah, that's a good question. I can't remember what we decided on. We were looking for a third. I don't know if Seth was able to do it.
He is playing way too much Valheim. He can't remember nothing.
Yeah. Well, I know we'll be there doing it, and when we know we can handle it. But yeah, if we can find a third, we'll see what happens. But either way, yeah, we're flirting with a 3-hour broadcast in about 3 more minutes. So we'll wrap her up before the 3-hour mark hits.
To get that package sent so you can speak right.
Yes, exactly. The rum and the whiskey. So yeah, super thankful to Primetime Racing League for having us here. Thanks, guys. Thank you to every single driver out here tonight. 35 drivers came out tonight. We can't do what we do without people racing, so that's cool. A borderline full server here on a Friday night. 100 laps at Daytona. And of course, everybody who is interacting on the YouTube channel, thank you very much. Tons of interaction on there. A couple hundred hits on this video. So that's pretty wild on a Friday night, and with all the people commenting and subscribing and doing what you do, we thank you very much. We love you, Rod Weston. Thank you very much for co-hosting again.
No worries.
And, as always, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Keep your stick on the ice.